but we got smacked. But we got smacked. But we got smacked. 3, 2, 1, go!
What's up, what's up, what's up? It's your boy Level here back with another Live and Level Gamers podcast. We are a week removed from the switch to official full blowout reveal. A lot has taken place between then and now, so we have a lot to talk about. Yo, where you at, Neil? Welcome to the show. Keep bringing it in, man. Bring it in. So we got a little bit to talk about. Comic Book Crunch, what's up, bruh? So we got a lot to talk about. Switch to price outrage continues. What else we got? We gotta talk about Digital Foundry comparison video prompts controversy. We gotta talk about the Tariff 90-day delay. So how will Nintendo respond? How will they act? And we got a little bit more to talk about. So just want to welcome y'all to the show tonight. Yeah. What's up, people?
Man, what it do, man? Been good. Good day. Good day. got a little bit more energy than last time, so that's a good thing.
What's up, Keith?
What's up? Hey, how do you get back to the chat without dropping? I don't understand.
I don't know. Do I need to do something on my end?
I was trying to find the link, but I don't know how to get back to the chat.
You on your PC or something?
Yep.
But yeah,
on the phone is easy. It's easy on the phone.
Smart.
Yeah. Trying to get some people in here. We got a special guest on tonight, so we trying to make that happen. But what's up, people? We got a lot to share. We got a lot to talk about. So a lot has been happening. A lot has been taking place. Man,
it's been a lot for a week, bro. It's been a lot for a week.
Yeah, it's been a whole lot for a week. Man, we thought we'd be able to pre-order yesterday. That was all messed up by Mr. Trump, our president and chief. Spoiled our opportunity to secure us a Switch 2. So we don't know when we're going to get a chance to get on this bandwagon of joy, but hopefully soon. So we're going to talk about that. Man, we got to talk about this Digital Foundry stuff. Okay, there she is, Miss Nia. What's up? What's up?
She done hop on with the wheel.
Miss Nia, what it do?
Get that mic together.
What's up, lady?
Does this mean I need to be on a good behavior today?
Yes, sir.
Nope.
Yeah, you do. You gotta be on good behavior.
Nah, I think I gotta be myself.
No, you gotta be your good behavior.
Nah, I don't think that I can be able to do that.
We gotta represent on tonight.
Funky.
Are you there? Can you hear?
I don't hear
you.
Yeah,
Where are you now? Where are you now?
We can hear you now.
Okay.
It sound like a mouse on here. Can you hear me?
Oh, wow.
God.
Wasn't even me.
You know I'm messing with you. What's up, Miss Nia? Welcome to the show.
What's good, everybody?
So
no pre-recording.
You know we got Nia here. You know we got Nia here. We got a lot to talk about. So
Hold on, Level. Before you go
ahead,
into
go
this,
ahead.
I got one question for you, Level.
yeah,
Do you have your censor button ready?
my censor button.
I'm gonna be good because I'm not playing a video game, so
Because-
I can collect my thoughts.
Because what I heard is that somebody don't like hopping on because somebody, I ain't naming no names, can't control the mouth when it comes to profanities.
No, it's not. It's not profanity in particular. It's like
the
a particular
N-word.
word.
Oh,
My bad. Did I say it? My bad.
That's our off. That's
You
our
know
off.
me. You know me so well. That's crazy. Yes. Yes.
So, as y'all can see, our special guest is Sister Nia. You got the offering plate, Nia?
I got it.
Okay. All right. So, as y'all can see, we are fully loaded and ready to go. So, we got a lot to talk about. We got to talk about this Switch outrage with the price. Is it in bounds? We got to talk about Digital Foundry's comparison issues, controversy, problems. We also got to talk about the tariffs being delayed and how Nintendo will respond. But let's break the ice. Has anybody saw the latest episode of Daredevil Reborn or Born Again?
I don't even know what episode I left on. Sorry.
I am behind. I'm like episode 5 or 6. 5 or 6 is where I'm at.
7 episodes. It's 7. So
yeah, I'm at 5 then. I just finished 5.
Yeah, 7 in total. Man, the writing just is superb, bro. The writing is
top notch.
It's really good. Yeah. So anyway, I don't want to keep us here too long. They don't want to break the ice. Nia showing up already broke the ice. So let's get into what you've been gaming on. Let's go. Yeah. You know what time it is. It's time for What Have You Been Gaming On? Sing it, folks. Let's go. Hey. What you been gaming on? 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 Gaming on, gaming on, gaming on. So since we have a guest, she's really not a guest, but since she's not in the comment section, she's in the chat live. Miss Nia. Long as it's not Xenoblade, what have you?
Oh, the shade. The shade.
Wait a minute. Hey,
No.
can I be myself?
Not even me. Not even me.
Wait a minute. Me and Nia go back so long back. We go back a ways. Now let me be me.
I thought it was gonna be me throwing the shade.
Nia, the floor is yours. Don't worry about these dudes. Nia, what have you been gaming on?
Actually, can somebody else go? Just give me 1 second, okay? I'll be right back.
Okay. K-Mom, go ahead, bro. What have you been gaming on?
All right, no problem. What I've been gaming on is, man, I tried so hard to get to Eternity in Marvel Rivals. I'm not going to get there. The new season, I think, restarts tonight, if I'm not mistaken. They got the new season drops tonight, season 2, where they just introduced Emma Frost. And if you have paid any attention, to Marvel Rivals, you would know that the Snow Bunnies are in full effect in Marvel Rivals. The blonde Snow Bunnies are in full effect. They got Cloak from Cloak and Dagger. They have Invisible Woman, and now they have Emma Frost, who has the Thunder Thighs. Thick thighs save lives in this game now, so the Snow Bunnies are out. But she's a new playable character, so I'll be able to utilize her skill set. I was trying to make it sound good. I couldn't make it sound not perverted. I tried, but I'll be playing with that character in about a couple of hours after we got the podcast. My brother's waiting when the season drops, so I've been gaming on that, just waiting for the new season. Playing 2K. But mostly, I've been playing on the most is Booty Blade. I've been playing. That's the game I probably spend the most time on. Is Booty Blade. I am. I think I'm on the last mission. I'm almost certain this is the last mission. I have to kill the Elder Natiba, is what they call. And man, they put some outfits available for you. They definitely. For the goons, this game is definitely for them, but it's not bad. The story let me down. I do have to say that the story let me down. The gameplay is good, but the story is not so good. It really did let me down. I figured it out within the first 5 hours of the game. So I'm just trying to beat it at this point. But that's probably what I've been playing the most is Stellar Blade. So that's what I've been gaming on.
Is that on sale yet? Because I'm not buying it brand new.
Yeah, it's been on sale for a while. I think
Okay.
it's probably like $39 now, probably less than that.
I mean, I need
I can check.
another $10 knocked off that before I give it a.
Yeah. I'll say
Is it
another
on PC
$10.
yet?
Huh?
I
Is it on
thought it
PC yet?
was. I'm not
I don't
sure.
think so. Is Ronin on
I thought I saw
PC?
something.
I think Ronin is, but I don't. See, I might,
Ronan's on PC.
I might get Ronin over this, man. I might.
Oh, I can't see the price of Stellar Blade because I have it, so I can't see what the price is.
Okay.
What, you want to get Assassin's Creed? You want to get Ronin?
No, I don't want Assassin's Creed, man. I don't want Assassin's Creed. I'm not getting either one, but I'm talking about between that and Stellar Blade, I'd probably get Ronin. But I'm not getting either of them.
No, it looks like 69 still. Yeah, you don't want it at 69.
Yeah, I don't want
But
it.
digitally.
Right. So, Nia, are you here, or do I need to go to Keith?
He's
I'm back.
Actually.
Okay, go
Sorry
ahead.
about that.
Are you okay?
Unfortunately, Levelhead, I have been playing Xenoblade Chronicles X. um,
That's funny.
but to the people in the chat who don't know me, I am a teacher, and it's the end of the year, so I haven't really been able to play the game like I want to. And I've also kind of been coming down to a crawl on this game because I really do want to finish it on the Nintendo Switch 2 whenever those but that's pretty much all I've been playing. But before that, I was playing Hello Kitty Island Adventure, which is a cute little game. Kind of
Come on,
akin to
act right, Kellen. Act right, K-Bomb. Act right, K-Bomb. Act
I
right.
don't care. Y'all
Don't
need
do
some
it,
feminine
K-Bomb.
energy on this podcast.
K-Bomb, don't do it.
Wait a
Don't do it,
minute.
K-Bomb. Don't do it, brother.
Played Hello Kitty.
Oh, she did it again.
Hours and hours.
Oh, my soul.
and I love it so much.
Oh, my masculinity.
Like
Football.
some hours in Hello Kitty.
I have so many hours in Hello Kitty.
Football, basketball, Final Four.
And if it wasn't for the fact that Xenoblade Chronicles X came out, I would probably still be playing Hello Kitty to this day. But anyways, I don't want to take up too much of the time because I know that there's a lot of things to discuss, but those are the games that I have been playing. But work has been work and life has been life. And hopefully, when the summertime comes, I can really just delve into some games because I really want to play South of Midnight that recently came out. I have it on Game Pass. Yeah, it looks like a really interesting game. Also, a black protagonist.
We have another Game Pass user. Hey, clap it up for X.
Yes, listen, I love me some Game Pass. The way these tears about to hit. It might be one of my only ways to play video games for a long time. Yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Norris, go ahead, bro. The floor is yours. What have you been playing on?
I have not been playing Hello Kitty, K-Bomb. So there you go.
Football, Final Four.
I've been playing with my LeBron doll. No, just playing.
LeBron.
Hey, bro, don't make me go into that. You know, I know the whole song, lyrics and all.
I know.
They got lyrics. Oh,
yeah, they got lyrics.
No,
in that
man.
Song.
I have been playing Xenoblade Chronicles X just as Miss Nia has.
Well, look at that.
I'm trying to beat chapter 9, so I get my flight license so I can fly around the place and have all the freedom. But that's it, man. That's all I've been gaming on. This is literally the first time I've touched my PC is to come talk to y'all.
Man.
So,
Nia, what level are you on Xenoblade? Are you on level 9? Or 10
You
or
mean
11?
like the chapter?
Yeah, chapter.
Yeah, chapter.
I just finished chapter 6. I think that I'm starting chapter 7, either chapter 7 or chapter 8.
Okay.
But I recently just got my scale, and there's still some things that I have to do before I get my flight license. So, like I said, I'm not trying to do that yet. I really want to experience that on Switch 2. So I've been doing a lot of
4K 60.
Huh?
So you want that 4K 60?
It's not, to be honest, like yes, that would be amazing, but it's not even really so much about that. I think it's just
Stability.
how there's an allure to playing on just a new system, new
Right.
hardware, new piece of plastic,
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
But I guess we could talk about that later. I don't want to. I don't want to.
No, you good. You
I don't want
good.
to jump. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
I was just gonna say that there's a chance that it might run better and perform better on native hardware, even if there isn't like an official upgrade.
Yeah, they did say
The
that.
port-
They said the normal
yeah,
game should still run better. It may not be like 4K 60, but it should still run better. But is what I'm being hearing.
It should
right.
run
And
how it
it's a
was
monolith
made.
soft game, so I know for a fact that they're gonna have some upgrade packs for those Xenoblade games because one thing about Nintendo is they put monolith soft on a pedestal. Like I feel like they put
Awesome.
them on a pedestal more than any other in-house Nintendo developer. But anyway, let me shut up.
Okay. I
Hey,
see
no, wait.
Darkwing Dragon. Go ahead.
Before you go level, I do want to say since we here, just to touch on that, there is a list of games. I don't know if we're gonna get
That
into
don't
it or
work.
not, but
That's right.
that do not work, and it's a lot of those third party impossible port games that will not work on the Switch 2. So just
Why
FYI,
won't they
anybody
work?
who's thinking about, I
They,
do
they,
not
they didn't
know.
give. They didn't really give. They didn't give details. It's a list that says works with issues. Does not. It's not playable.
So a game
Yep.
like Witcher 3,
NBA 2K25 was on there.
why wouldn't it work?
Yeah, stuff like
Yeah, I
that.
don't.
That
Well,
you have to
I
ask Nintendo.
remember. Well, I remember after like the whole backlash came out about like what the Nintendo Switch, was doing, was not doing, prices, things like that. I took it upon myself to read some of the Ask the Developer interviews on the Nintendo.com website.
Hmm.
And one of the things that they talked about as far as like backwards compatibility is concerned is that they confirmed that the Nintendo Switch OG games are not being um played on like internal hardware that's like dedicated to like
Yeah.
Switch 1 games.
It's been
A
like
part of
emulated,
it
right?
It's emulators.
Yes, a
Yeah.
part of it is emulation. So
Yeah.
I would imagine that that has something to do with the fact that some games don't
Right.
play and some games do play. Like how on the Wii U, there were some innards inside of the Wii U that were like
Yes.
also in the Wii, which made it play natively. I guess you would say how you say
Mhm.
that. The
Yeah.
Switch 2 does not have those like
Type
any
of
like Switch 1 parts.
right.
And that's why
So
the PS3. That's why PS5 doesn't play PS3 games.
right.
mhm.
So it's basically like when you put the disc in for the Wii on the Wii U, it converts to our GameCube on the Wii. It literally had GameCube guts inside of the Wii, if I'm not mistaken. That's the way it could
Correct.
play it. So okay, I see what you're saying. So it's
Correct.
not like that. So they emulate it. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
Emulation.
let me read something.
That's why that's why they yeeted Yuzu.
Yeah.
Yeet.
We
Right,
literally
right.
said that. We literally called that they might end up using that. That's probably why they try to take a lot of them down. But I want to read what Darkwing Dragon. First of all, welcome to the show, bro. He said, sup, everybody. Still gaming on Xenoblade X and Visions of Mana.
No booty blade. Ain't nobody rocking the booty blade.
Comic Book
That's
Crunch
you, bro.
said, I just started South of Midnight. So far, so good. Okay, so
Nice.
far as me, I've been playing on Astrobot.
Oh, I bet.
I'm trying to beat it. I'm pretty much through all the bosses. So I just opened another stage that introduced me to another boss that wasn't in the original 6. So I'm going to try to finish that and see if I can at least get to the end and see what
Nice.
the end game is about. So I can tell you guys since I bragged and glorified Astrobot, I should finish it, right? So that's what I've been doing. And me and my daughter still playing through Split Fate. We haven't played in a while.
Fiction.
Split Fiction.
Okay.
We haven't played in a while, so I plan on jumping on that this weekend as well. Cause she won't stop bugging me, so let me get on that. And so that's about it. That's what I've been gaming on. So we're gonna go through this strictly like we have it listed here. The first subject is Switch 2 price. Outrage continues. Is this in bounds? So, as you know, as all of you guys know, and ladies know, the
Oh,
Switch
look at
2,
you
yeah,
being
you know,
inclusive.
yeah.
An inclusive king. I know that's right.
Thank you, Nia. I know how to treat people when they jump on the. My wife taught me well. So, getting back to things, as y'all know, the Switch 2 is base model. We're not going to talk about the bundle, but the base model is $449, and the games have bumped up to PlayStation 5 levels with $69.99 for DK Bonanza. And old Mario Kart World said, I'm going to do you one better. And
Put
we're
a
going to
10 on
charge
it.
$79.99. Now, there was a whole bunch of misinformation out there that the physical version was $90. That's all wrong. That was not correct.
Okay.
But it is $80. And if you was watching Treehouse after that, the next 2 days, all in the comment section was drop the price. Like
Drop the price.
the
Drop the price.
whole,
Drop the
it was
price.
so bad. It was so bad. K-Bum, I literally turned off the chat part because I was just like, God, who was spamming up this chat room? I mean, for 4 hours straight, nothing but drop the price, drop the price, drop the price. Every now and again, raise the price, then drop the price. And this has pretty much leaked out into the internet, all on X, all it's everywhere. People are seemingly seriously outraged by the price of the Switch 2. So I feel like
Agreed.
we need to take it upon ourselves to discuss, is this in bounds? Should the fan base, should people be outraged by what Nintendo is requesting for this device? Now, Nintendo is not doing themselves any favors. The Nintendo editions, if you don't own Breath of the Wild, if you don't own Tears of the Kingdom, and if you buying it for the Switch 2,
give me that money.
it's $80.
Give me my money.
Voice chat has a cost to it. The eye candy or the camera is 50 bones.
That's not
I'm
bad.
just saying everything with this
I'm
system,
just.
even the
it was
little
100.
demo, what they call
Oh
it,
yeah,
demo. What's that
the
demo?
user manual. The user
Yeah.
manual game.
The
Welcome
demo,
tour.
Yeah, the welcome tour is $10. Nintendo is not, and Mr. What's his name? Koopa. I think that's his name. What's his first name?
Bowser.
Bowser.
Doug
Yeah,
Bowser?
Bowser. Yeah,
Doug Bowser.
Doug Bowser was asked about this, and he basically said, "Look," and we got to talk about all this. I don't really have a problem with what he said, but we got to bring it up. They try to compare it to the debacle of the Xbox One when that happened. He basically said, if you can't afford the Switch 2, we still have the Switch, other Switches out there that you can still buy into that we're going to continue to support. So
Yes.
they basically not backing down. They not changing course. And this has been a very, very touchy topic.
Oh, the joysticks are $10 more too. Don't forget about that.
What's that?
The joysticks are $10 more than the Switch One
And the
Joy-Cons.
Pro Controller is. So
And the Pro Controller too.
who wants to take this on first? Who want to give their thoughts? Nia, since you're here, you are our guest. We gonna ladies first. Nia, is the outrage in bounds?
Yes.
Okay.
That was a quick answer.
She dropping
Everybody-
bombs early. Go ahead.
Because here's the thing. People have the right to express discontentment, whether I agree or not. If
Agreed.
people are outraged about something, I'm not gonna be the person to tell them to shut up. Like unless they're like genuinely spreading misinformation, like I'm not gonna tell them to shut up. Like I feel like well before I preface my statement, I'm gonna leave PlayStation and Xbox fans out of it.
No,
Okay.
bring them up. Bring
So,
them in this.
oh no, 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 no. This is the reason why I say I'm gonna
Okay.
leave them out
Okay.
of it.
Okay.
If you are primarily a Nintendo game, okay, like in my case, I have owned all of the consoles like in previous generations, but this is the first generation where I have made a choice to be Nintendo and PC only. Like the previous generation, I owned both the Xbox and the PlayStation. Generation before that, I also had a PlayStation as well as my Nintendo system as well as my PC. This is the first generation that I've only primarily gamed on the Nintendo console, like as far as like all of the consoles are concerned. So if you are a Nintendo only gamer, you have been accustomed to staying at a $60 game price point. The only $70 game that Nintendo has offered up to this point was The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Of
Okay.
course, the market in other areas, PlayStation, Xbox, PC, have set a standard to where $70 games have become the standard. Gamers across the board have decided that $70 games is okay. Like, yes, of course,
Yes.
people were not okay with it at first, but we bared and we grunted and we still paid the price because this is the entertainment that we like to enjoy. But speaking specifically about Nintendo gamers, we have been paying $60 for video games since the Wii U. Because Wii games were
Really.
$50.
Yeah.
Really.
Yes, Wii games were $50. Wii U games were $60. However, if you went to certain retailers, like for example, if you went to Walmart, you were still getting your Wii U games for $50. And then when the Nintendo Switch came out, we were now paying games for $60. But just like with the Wii U, if you went to certain retailers, you were still paying $50. I remember when the Nintendo Switch first came out, there were a lot of Nintendo games that I was getting that I could still get for $50 at Walmart. So now,
Hmm.
we've come to this point where the Nintendo Switch 2 was coming out and Nintendo is asking $70, which has already become a standard on PlayStation and
Yes.
Xbox. And I feel like people who game on multiple platforms, whether it's the PlayStation, whether it's the Nintendo systems, whether it's Xbox, whether it's PC, a lot of those people aren't really making a big stink about the $70 games. I feel like those people are kind of like, okay, well, $70 has become the standard. We're in a new era where graphics and technology has reached a certain pressure point. Like there's an expectation now that okay, Nintendo has created this device where they're becoming closer to parity. So of course they're going to start charging $70. But
Makes
if
sense.
you are a Nintendo only gamer, I feel like the outrage comes from the fact that you've been paying $50 to $60 for your games for about what 2-3 generations now.
Yeah.
So in that case, I do understand why a lot of people
Mm.
are upset because not only are Nintendo now matching the current recent standard of $70. Now, for certain games, now you're going to ask them to pay $20 more at $80. So I understand why people are upset. Now, I do think that um, in terms of pricing, I personally am gonna be more selective with the amount of games that I purchase. I already was selective with the type of games that I was purchasing. The
Hello
only
Kitty.
$70 Hello Kitty was $40 anyway. So since we want to be smart, but anyway, so
Third party.
K Bomb is my boy. I'm just joking, y'all.
Oh no, come with
Um,
come with the heat. Come with the heat. I'm good for it.
But as far as I'm concerned, I've only paid $70 for 2 games. I bought Monster Hunter Wilds on the PC,
Mm.
and then I bought, of course, The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. I think I bought. I want to say when Final Fantasy VII Rebirth came out on PC, I think it actually released at a discount, so I don't think I paid $70 for that, but I think it is now $70 if you get it new. But I say all of that to say I am more selective when I purchase certain games at $70. So I could only imagine for a person who plays mostly on Nintendo what this does for them in their psyche. You have paid $50 to $60 for all of these years for your favorite Nintendo games. Now only having to pay $10 to $20 more. That is a I remember listening to Kit and Krista. They were talking about this a couple of
Hmm.
days ago, and Krista called it a sticker shock. I would imagine a lot of primary Nintendo gamers having sticker shock. You've paid this, now they're asking you to pay this. And I think people are taking I do think that people are taking the pricing situation and they're using that frustration to springboard themselves into other narratives. I mean, that's another topic for a
That's a
Right,
whole,
we
yeah,
want
segment.
to go.
yeah,
We want to
But
go
yeah.
I
there
do
tonight. I want to go. That's part of my inbounds is some of where you said people are doing. But go ahead, finish your thought because we might touch on some
well,
of that.
I mean, I don't pocket watch people. That's something that I've never done. If you want to buy The Last of Us 15 times, that's your prerogative.
Right.
If you want to
Thank you.
get Mario Kart World for $80 and not the bundle, that's your prerogative. But one thing that I will say is that we have to remember that as consumers, we ain't gotta buy none of this.
None of it.
Like, as a person who actually has real life things happening, and a lot of us do, there are so many more things to be concerned about than the price of video games. So I would just say for me, I don't want to say that they're out of bounds for feeling that way. I think that people have the right to feel how they feel, but I do think there comes a point where now you're just doing a lot. Like now you're doing a lot. Like every time Nintendo posts an update about a different game, like now we're forgetting about the games that look interesting, the games that are at a regular quote unquote standard price, and now we're talking about other stuff. Now we're spreading misinformation. Like now we're purposefully regurgitating misinformation even when new information is being found out and learned
Introduced.
about
Right.
and retained. You know what I mean? Like that's when
Yeah.
it's like, okay, now we're doing a lot.
Right. Let me see this shouts out. Heart and Soul, what's up, bro? And Chariot Man, welcome to the show. So Nia laid out a lot there. She said it's
Very
not
good
out
points.
of bounds. Very good points. Very
Very good
poignant.
points.
Very articulate. So we got to be on our P's and Q's now. We got to talk right.
Listen,
I ain't doing none, cuz.
please don't. Please
I'm
don't.
messing.
The only reason why I'm acting right is because I respect the platform. I've been watching you for almost a decade now. I respect the platform. But if we were on my channel, it would be a whole different personality to me.
I got you. I know, Dion. I know. I'm messing with you. I told you we go back at least a decade. So, I guess K-Bum, Keith, come on through, man. Then I follow up behind y'all. Whatever y'all say, I share my thoughts. Go ahead.
I can go ahead and jump on this. I don't have a clear cut answer. It's not as beautiful as Nia's. I don't have a clear cut answer. Here's why. I do believe. But when you look at the prices are the same when you compare most of the games are the same when you compare them to their rivals. When you look at Xbox, you look at PC, not PC, Xbox, but PlayStation, 69 has become the standard. That's what Nia said. That is pretty much where we are. And I see people even upset with that, and that's what Nia's kind of said. But one thing that I have realized during the Switch 2 launch and reading and watching people, I've realized that I don't understand Nintendo gamers at all. I'll just say that I don't get it. I thought the Switch 2 was a slam dunk. I in the chat, I told Level, I told Keith, I said this is going to outsell the Switch 1. I said this the power behind it, the 4K 60 without DLSS, without anti-aliasing, without ray tracing. They're still producing 4K 60. This is going to sell like hotcakes when they get past all this other stuff. But during the week, I saw video after video of not just gamers, but Nintendo fans, faithful, telling their audience not to buy the Switch. And I'm dumbfounded by it, and a lot of it has to do with the price. So I don't think the price of the $69 games is really justified to be upset about. Like, you have to look at it. This is the industry. The rest of the industry, and Nintendo has the right to match the industry. They don't have to sell their games for less. They've been doing that as a service, but they don't have to. This is the price of the industry. They're not doing anything outside of what the industry is dictating. They're matching the industry. They're producing the same similar quality type of games. They can charge the same amount of price for. And so I don't. To me, that piece of the outrage, I don't fully agree with. I think they have the right to do that. Um, the part that I do kind of side with the outrage is, well, you set the standard at 69, but then you say, well, this game is worth even more. And I don't know how to justify that $10 more, right? When you compare to other games using with similar type of games, open world, Mario Kart, I don't really see the justification for the additional $10. And I don't think Nintendo has cared to justify the $10 more. They just said this is what it is and this is what you got to deal with. And then when you start piling on top of, before I go to that, then you start piling on top of the camera, and then this is $10 more than it was last. The Joy Cons are $10 more. The Pro Controller is $10 more. The free game that you usually get is now $10, and then you start to see, okay, well, yeah, I start seeing why they can be upset about it. But there was one thing that I know I've brought up, but that people don't really. I did see one other guy bring up for them to be kind of justified in their upsetness of even the $69 price, and that being that Nintendo games are usually $69 for the life cycle of the system. When you look at PlayStation, you can probably go get. They may even have it free. Some of their first party games, like Spider-Man, Miles Morales, may even be free with their online service by now. Even like some of the Last of Us, I think I bought Last of Us like $20, right? And then some of these games are, in 2 years later, are given away. Horizon, Forbidden West is part of the online service for PlayStation. So if you have the online, the second tier, you can play that game for free, right? But you don't get that type of discount with Nintendo games, and so for that's going to be the same $69 for the life cycle of the console, or $79 for the life cycle of the console. So for that, I understand the justification. So, like I said, my answer is not clear cut. There's parts that I agree with. There's parts that I disagree with. I disagree with people being upset at the price of the console. This is a powerful system that you're getting here. This system is doing a lot. It has a lot of buzzwords: VRR, 4K, 120, DLSS, ray tracing. There's a lot going on under the hood, and thank you, HDR, 3D sound. There's a lot going on under this hood. This isn't
120 frames per second. Like,
I said
yeah,
120.
so,
I said
yeah, I know,
120.
I know.
Chill,
You
bro.
did. I just
Chill, bro.
trying,
Chill, bro.
just trying to help you
Thank you.
out.
Thank you. Appreciate it. But it's a lot going on under the hood. So I think it's justified for the four, especially when you compare, if you want to compare, if you do compare to like the other mobile systems. I think the Switch it should be even higher. Switch 2, because the Switch 2 is a two-door system. It is a mobile system and it is a home console system. So I even think they can even charge more. I think
Yeah.
I think to be honest, I think they can charge more than that because it does more. But I'm gonna step off my point. But that's kind of where I am. There's parts I agree with. There's parts I disagree with. And I see the outrage, but I do agree with Nia. I think some people have taken it too far. That's kind of my stance on that.
All right, come on, Keith.
Oh, my bad.
Go ahead, Nia, if you got something to add.
I just wanted to say a quick point to add on to something that K Bomb said about how he's saying that a lot of the outrage is coming from people who are like primarily Nintendo fans. And I think a lot of it is because like a lot of Nintendo fans, like they want their cake and eat it too. Like they want to be able to say, "Oh, Nintendo is close to parity with the other consoles. Look how great Nintendo is. Look how great these Nintendo games are." But they still want the console to be $300. Like you can't
You can't
you
do
can't
that.
have that.
I,
Like they still
I'm
want
trying to
Nintendo
hold.
to
I'm trying
have
to
like
hold
those
mine.
family friendly prices, but it's like they're stepping into a whole new arena of gaming now. So it's
Yeah.
like you can't have both.
I got so
Yeah.
much I want to say. Go ahead, Keith. This floor is
Hey,
yours.
it's like Nia's in the chat stealing stuff I want to say.
Y'all
What?
just
I'm
y'all,
sorry.
yeah,
But
y'all being
no,
synced, bro. Y'all just being synced like that.
no, because I was like, but that was gonna be one of my points, but there was no need to say it now. But it is unfortunate, and this is what I was gonna leave
I
with.
am
It's
so
unfortunate.
sorry.
It's unfortunate that Nintendo has created this space for Nintendo gamers to feel the value. Like with Nintendo, we get the value and so on and so forth. But we don't know, and it's not Nintendo's job to come out and just say, "Hey, we had to hire many more people to work on this game," which means that we can't work on the other games simultaneously like we used to because our hardware is so much more sufficient, more powerful than the old consoles. So now we got to move people around. We got to hire new people. It's probably so much more work than they had to do before. Think about it. They're doing 4K now. Like K-Bun mentioned, they got 120. So now, not only do they have to make a performance mode, they got to make a quality mode for these games now. We've seen that with what's the game? Metroid Prime 4. So this is new territory for them to have to do this. So yeah, I'm sorry they are asking for more. I don't necessarily want to pay more. Let me put that out. I know I made a big stuff about it last week with Mario Kart. I don't want to pay more money. All right. But I am going to give them the benefit of the doubt to say they are having to do a lot more behind the scenes than we know about. And like I said, it's unfortunate because for years we've always had to bargain Nintendo games, $59. 69 was the only game that I ever bought with Zelda Tears of the King. That was the only one I ever bought like that. Other than The Witcher, I bought like the whole trilogy and the DLC. So I was probably paid like $130 for that. But that's me. But all of this dropped the price in the Nintendo chat or the Treehouse. I think they should just wait for April 17th, specifically for Mario Kart. Now, I'm not mad at people for wanting to protect their wallets and, they want the budget or whatever, but you got to give this company a chance. Plus, we finna fight these tariffs, but I know we're going to get into that too. But this company is having to do a lot more, kind of like what Nia just said. You want your cake and you want to eat it too because
Yeah.
you want the HDR, the high fidelity graphics, but you also want to spend $59. Like that ain't it. They're doing a lot more. And as far as the console goes, I don't have a problem with the console. K-Bone said you can charge more. It is doing more.
It's doing
punching
more.
it's punching way higher than PS4, PS4 Pro. When I say way higher, I mean it's doing things that technically those consoles just can't do
Hmm.
from a technical aspect.
Hmm.
Um, and you can take it on the go 1080p 120 frames a second. Like this is a different Nintendo. This isn't a widest Nintendo. They're doing a lot more behind the scenes and they're trying to offer you a better value, I think, with the things that they're trying to put out. Now I'll just end it there.
Okay. So I guess the floor is mine. So all you guys made great points. I think Nia knocked it out the park with her points. So I don't feel like I need to retread through any of that. Yes, the complaints are inbounds, but I add this tidbit to an extent. I don't necessarily take issue with people not being happy with the pricing, especially Mario Kart World at $80. To me, that's about the only thing that I feel like is out of bounds is that price. And if the issue was strictly with Mario Kart Mario Kart World being $80, I would not be as annoyed as I am. I'm annoyed because a lot of the people that I see complaining and fussing about these prices are not the casuals. They're the ones that have the high-end PCs. They're the one that has every device, supposedly. They got an Xbox that they don't even play because there's nothing over there to play. They have everything.
Saturday midnight. Go pick it up.
They-
Game Pass.
Everything that they complained about, Nintendo has addressed it. Everything that made the Switch undesirable. Everything that made the Wii U undesirable. Everything that made the Wii undesirable, Nintendo has addressed it. You have voice chat. You have parody. You
Full
can
price.
Huh?
Full price.
No, but I'm
Voice
just
chat.
saying, you have parity. When you look at what it's competing against and what everything in the realm of what the Switch 2 is, when you look at the market and look at other devices that's doing what the Switch 2 do, they cost twice as much. A Rogue Ally. Cherry Man is in here. How much does a Rogue Ally cost? How much do
$6.99.
I think like 500. It's up around 500, right?
how much do the Legion Go cost? The only
like
thing
5,
that
6.
costs close to the Switch is the Steam Deck, and it can't compete with the Switch, and it's $3.99. K-Bum said it last week, and I'm gonna add a saying to what he said. K-Bum said,
You brought this up. I do want to say this. The ROG Ally is $7.99, and then you got one that's $8.99. But it does do 1080p, 120 frames a second, but it's $900.
right,
Yeah.
it's doing this. That's my
They
point.
can charge more, like I said.
So, K-Bum said something last week that I thought was poignant. He said, what'd you say? Power ain't cheap? What'd you say? How did you say?
Power ain't cheap.
Right.
Pay Daddy Nintendo they money.
And so he said power ain't cheap, and I'm gonna say pay to play. Now that may sound insensitive, but you're talking to a person that can go back before Nintendo went Blue Ocean strategy. I can go back to before the Wii, before Wii U, before Switch. I can go back to when I wanted to play Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. I paid $100 for that game. I paid $100 for WCW versus NWO. I paid $100 for Wave Race and all those type of games on the N64. When I was 20 and working my first job, making $4.99 an hour, one check went to a Nintendo game. So when I look at what y'all have enjoyed, first of all, let's give Nintendo shots for the fact that they was able to give us all this quality stuff for so long for that price. But it came with a trade-off. Hardware that was extremely outdated. So I said this in the chat room. I'm going to say it here. This is not your Miyamoto's Nintendo. This is Iwata's vision taken over by young minds who want to see certain things in their games and want to see what they can really create and not be limited, but yet stay in their wheelhouse, stay in their lane, but give their developers something they can really work with, something that can stand up to what's else out there, trying to remove the schism and some of the critiques and complaints around their device. They have addressed all this and still gave you a very affordable system. $450 for what you're getting is very much fair. I didn't want it. Yes, I was hoping for $399, but when they said $450, $500 for a pack-in game, I'm cool with that. The only thing I have a problem with is Mario Kart World, and they got next week to prove why it's 80, and I doubt they're still going to achieve that no matter what they show. None of us is probably going to feel like they should be charging 80. But Nintendo has packed, when I look at Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, when they first announced that it was going to be $70, we all golfed and we was out, we lost our breath, and then we played the game. Let me ask you something. Did you feel like you didn't get what you paid for?
I definitely got my money's worth. I ain't gonna hold you.
Right. You got more than what you paid for out of the fact that they was giving us these games for $59 and all this stuff. Nintendo probably could have been getting more for some of their titles. Now, because it's not HD and in that high fidelity, but what you're getting, the quality of what you're getting stacks up. Nintendo makes some of the best, if not some, well, it ain't no if. Nintendo makes some of the best games ever. And they've been giving it to you at very affordable prices, pulling off sheer magic on Band-Aids, rubber bands, and spit. They've been giving you this stuff. The
Come
Wii,
on,
bro.
man.
The
He ain't
Wii.
lying though.
Look,
He been
okay,
cooking on the
Keith, take
potatoes
an
for a
example.
while.
Let's look at Mario Galaxy on the Wii. Go look at that game and tell me how that game is really running on the Wii. And what other company could have did that? Could have made a game where you running around and jumping on what you call them, spears, or and running around like that. And they did that on the Wii. They've been giving you stuff that you shouldn't probably be able to get. They've been working magic on very limited high power. Look at Xenoblade. Xenoblade looked good when it was on the Wii U. And people's like, is that really a Wii U game? They was pulling this stuff off and giving you this stuff. Now they giving you a system that can actually realize their vision way fuller now. And now you want to complain because you got to pay a little bit more. And then the ones who are going so far to spread misinformation, take what Doug Bowser said and twisting it to something he did not mean and comparing it to what the dude for the Xbox said. To me, that's where it's starting to get egregious.
Like, it ain't the same.
It's not the same. And you seeing everybody jump on the bandwagon because people like to flock to negativity and like to
Clicks and likes.
Yeah, and it's like all this is for clicks because every person you see complaining is going to have a Switch 2. They're going to have it. It's already sold out everywhere that you can pre-order it. All this, so some of this outrage is just fake to me. While it's inbounds, a lot of it is it works. It draws up attention. People just want to join the bandwagon. But when the push comes to shove, most of you guys are going to have Mario Kart World. Now, when the casuals and those who don't be on YouTube and ain't on X and ain't following this all day and don't have time to lower the price on when those folks complain, that's when Nintendo gonna listen. Y'all, they not listening to y'all. They not studying y'all. Because they know y'all. They wait for when the real consumers who don't follow this stuff, when soccer mom Betty and dad goes to the store and realize that their son or daughter wanted to switch to, and they see the price, that's when you're going to see whether Nintendo, who Nintendo really is as far as that stuff. They not responding to y'all, man, because they know that's what y'all doing. Y'all spamming them and trying to get them to lower the price. It's not going to work. So for me, I ended at this. It's inbounds. But I'm not tripping off these content creators and these loud people on X. It ain't that serious. And if you my age and know how to go and experience before I've been here. I already know what it cost, what it was like to spend $100 for a video game. So it ain't foreign to me. So I don't want to spend 80, but 70 ain't out of bounds. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at Donkey Kong Bonanza. I don't like it, but I'm going to be like Nia. I did the same thing with the PlayStation 5. I didn't buy everything for the PlayStation 5. I was very frugal. I was very intentional about what I bought because I'm spending more. That's how I'm going to be with the Switch. I won't have 50, 60 games like I got for the current Switch. I might have 15. So I'm going to buy exactly what I know I'm going to play, and that'll probably be it. But I'm not necessarily mad at Nintendo. I'm mad at other things that they're doing, but not necessarily the 70 and the 450. I'm not mad at that. The 80 and the demo being $10 when they could have made that a pack in, like Astrobot demo for the PlayStation 5. That type of stuff is, to me, Nintendo being greedy. But 450 is, to me, is well within proper to ask for. I mean, this they doing some stuff with this system, and I'm here for it. I'm not mad at it, but I get the floor to somebody else.
But can I say two quick things? One thing, I want to read this comment the way that it was written. So give me a quick second.
Yeah.
Nintendo built those games in a cave with a box of scraps.
Iron Man was made. That's how Iron Man was made.
That's Iron Man reference.
Iron Man quote. That's what
Iron Man
Mr.
reference.
Darkwing
Okay.
said. Yeah, from Iron Man. Okay, I had to read that. That was good. Really quickly. So, from I'll give real quick. I'll give you insight from somebody who made a stance for something being overpriced, and he was a fanboy of. So, as you guys know, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Sony. I love Sony. I love the type of games they make. I love the system. When the PS3 dropped, and they looked me dead in my eyes and told me $5.99, there was outrage. I was upset. I was mad. I said, "Y'all done lost y'all marbles. You ain't getting $5.99 from me."
Right.
But that outrage was justified. I think completely justified, in my opinion, because when you looked at the rest of the competition, no one was near that. I think the Xbox was I think $4.99 or $4.50 with something
It was
that
$3.99.
yeah, $3.99. Yeah, $3.99. And so that rage from that fan base was justified, and we didn't buy it. They suffered. PlayStation 3 suffered. I did not buy a PlayStation 3 at retail. I got that. I bought it from a person who was trying to offload it because he just got divorced from his wife and he was trying to get some money because he had to get his own apartment. So I bought that PlayStation. I didn't buy it from, and I got like all of it for like $400 or something like that. But you know, we were justified, and we showed with our pockets because PlayStation 3 suffered its first couple of years. People did not buy it. The faithful Sony fans who made the PlayStation 2 the highest selling console of all time started to play Xbox and Nintendo games systems because they weren't buying the Sonys. It suffered. And so if you feel justified, speak with your wallets because Sony has never made a mistake like that since. They made some stupid decisions, but not like that since. And so if it's just to give those who feel justified in that decision, speak with your wallets. If you don't like the pricing, speak. And Sony cut that price. And that's when they got momentum and started to pick back up, and the PS3 started to do much better. But if you feel like this is not justified, use your wallet to say so. Don't just use the internet and then go buy it behind the scenes and hide the fact that you got to switch to. Speak with your wallet. Don't buy it. Don't buy the game. And see how, and that's how you make Nintendo react. Not just by putting a bunch of balls or posting it in their chat. No, you speak with your wallet. That says a whole lot more than what your mouth will say, because a mouth will say anything. But
Reggie
that's my
said
take.
when Operation Rainfall, he said, "I can get all these signatures, but are y'all really gonna pay for the games?"
Mm-hmm.
So same thing.
And people definitely did, and that's why they bought Monolith Soft. Anyways,
Yep.
Right. So I understand how people feel. It was a shock to see. Well, we was hoping for $3.99. We have been sold, which on this for so long because people were saying it was going to be this and that, and Nintendo came and said, "No, actually, it's more than that, and we want this price." So, any final thoughts on this particular topic, and we can move on because I believe we can bridge from this into the other topic. Okay,
We can move forward, brother.
so of course, for a long time, people was saying that the Switch was going to be $3.99 because it's basically going to be a PlayStation 4 on the go, and now that the Switch 2 is out and it's showing itself to be more formidable than that, we have some of the ones that was kind of pushing this narrative doing comparisons, and I believe they have created a controversy, and they're being criticized for some of the things they're saying and doing, and people are questioning their motives, and that's Digital Foundry. So what took place is, of course, Digital Foundry was not one of the, I guess, creators that was invited to actually get hands-on with the Switch. But it was a lot of things that they were sharing and saying about the Switch before the Switch 2 hit the mark, was revealed, and a lot of what they said seems to be false and is slowly being proven wrong that they thought was wrong. Like I remember when Rich Ludbutter said that the Switch 2 would not be more powerful and more capable than the Steam Deck, which that was proven wrong. When the rumor came out that the Switch 2 was 120 frames per second.
In dock mode, I mean in undock mode is what he's referring to, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but that still was proven wrong. He didn't think the screen was going to do 120p. He said it'd never do that. That was proven wrong. He didn't believe it'd do 4K. That was proven wrong. So there's been a lot of narratives that I've been saying. So they did a comparison between, and shouts out to, and I never thought I'd ever say this, shouts out to Super Metal Dave. But I want to, but even though I'm giving shouts out to Super Metal Dave, I'm going to share something that I know the crew here know I said this, and I'm going to bring it up when we get into that. I'm trying to see how to introduce this. I guess my question is Digital Foundry being misleading when it comes to their Switch 2 and PlayStation 4 comparison? Are they being misleading? And if they are, why? I guess that's how I will set it up. Are there comparisons with the Switch 2 and PlayStation 4 misleading? And I'm going to pull this up, and the controversy started with Final Fantasy VII and their comparison with the PlayStation 4 version. I'm going to open the floor. Who want to take that? I don't know who want to go first. What do y'all feel about what Digital Foundry is doing when it comes to their talking points on the Switch 2? Are they being misleading? Who want to go?
Okay, I'll start it off. Okay, so Level, you've been posting a lot of videos and I've been kind of challenging your positions on a lot of things and just hoping that we can make a well-rounded argument, because I don't disagree with you bringing this question and you wanting to talk about this, because the more and more Digital Foundry continues to talk, the more and more I can see where you're coming from. Now, I don't want to say that they're being misleading on purpose. I don't want to say that. But the fact that they're not given a well-rounded scope of, this is what they do. They compare video games to other consoles and things of that nature. And the fact that they seem to be reluctant to show anything beyond a PlayStation 4 is interesting. I will give you that. It's very interesting that they're not doing that. I don't know why. I know we can go back, I think last year, where you'll see them say something like, it's not gonna be more powerful than a PlayStation 4. They can't see that. They don't see HDR, not HDR. What was it? I can't remember the specifics of what it was saying, but he said
they didn't see HDR, they didn't see VRR. There's a lot of stuff.
Was it HDR?
Yeah,
but I know he's. But I know he said they don't think that it's more powerful than a Xbox Series X. Right. Which several other YouTubers, if you go on YouTube, just Google it, you'll see that they've been comparing it to the Xbox Series X, and the Switch 2 has either looked just as good, if not even better.
Right.
So it's weird that they are taking this position, and I don't know if all of them agree. That one guy, I don't know his name. He wears the glasses.
John. That's John.
I really feel like John has a different opinion about everything, but he has to stick with what what the channel is saying. I think Richard is the one leading this charge to continue to isolate the PlayStation 4 and say the Switch 2 is right here. But even if it was right here, compare it to the PlayStation 5 anyways. Show the difference to the people, because there's this price tag, going back to the last topic, people saying, it costs too much. Well, this is what Digital Foundry does. Show us what we're getting. You know what I mean? Show us what we're getting by showing us compared to the Xbox Series X, the PlayStation 5, the Steam Decks, the 5090s. You know what I'm saying? Show us where the Nintendo Switch stacks up against the best of the best, and not some console that came out in 2013. So one could take that position and say, yeah, something's up. Again, I don't want to say that they're just doing that, but the fact that, like you just mentioned, the fact that they didn't get an invite, they weren't one of the content creators to get a chance to get hands on with this system. They may be feeling some type of way because I know Sony had reached out to them. Then they do like a thing with Mark Cerny, and they were talking about the
Yes.
PlayStation 5
Yes,
Pro,
they did. Yes.
and then
Yes. Yes.
and then
Yes.
and Nintendo
Keith,
didn't
Keith,
give them
Keith,
that,
Keith.
huh?
Yes. Yes, they did.
Yeah. And Nintendo didn't reach out to him, and they supposed to be the guys. They him. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, I understand your position, and I hope that Digital Foundry does begin to show the Switch compared to other things, because it's going to question their credibility as uh, the people that they say that they are.
Miss Nia, you want to go?
This man stole my whole flow.
Finally.
Okay, but I absolutely agree with everything that Keith said. Um, but I will say that I did notice the same thing leveled. I did notice that a lot of the things that like I don't really follow Digital Foundry like that. Like um I honestly, I'm not really like a graphics girly like that. Like, I really do feel like we've come to a point in video games where like no game is like really ugly. They just have ugly art styles if they're ugly. So I think that we're really approaching that point of diminishing returns. And I feel like that regardless if I'm playing games on my Switch or if I'm playing games on my PC, I feel like the art style is what speaks for themselves. However, I did notice that when I did come across some Digital Foundry um, articles or posts, whether it be from you leveled or whether it be from like other people, I did notice that they just would never compare the Nintendo Switch 2 to what's currently out on the market. And I also did think it was strange. I never really thought that much about it. I guess until you brought up the conversation just now. And I will say, I think that I don't want to say that they're being nefarious for nefarious sake, you know. But one thing that I will say is I do think that how do I say this? A lot of non-Nintendo fans who don't really
Respect.
understand the history and the culture of Nintendo. Like, I've been in the Nintendo streets for a long time. Like, I've been a Nintendo fan since I developed the fine motor ability to control an NES controller. Like, I've been in the Nintendo realm for a very long time. But there's a lot of people who simply just aren't in the Nintendo realm, so they don't really understand how Nintendo does things. So I think that people like Digital Foundry, I don't think they're being nefarious, but I do think that there is a blind spot that people like the guys at Digital Foundry and other fan bases do have when it comes down to Nintendo. Like, for example, um, ever since the Wii, when Nintendo has decided to adopt the blue ocean strategy, people just have it set in their heads like, okay, Nintendo's always a generation behind. Nintendo's always a generation behind. This is who they are. This is who they are. It's in their DNA. But that hasn't always been Nintendo. Up
Right.
until the Wii, Nintendo has always been on board with parity. And in fact, in many cases, Nintendo has been the bar. And I feel like not a lot of people who don't follow Nintendo, a lot of people who aren't in the Nintendo streets, they don't really realize that. I think they have a blind spot for that. And I think that all this Digital Foundry footage and all of these articles or posts that they're making is proving that mindset that Nintendo is dead set in remaining a generation behind. And I think that them comparing the Nintendo Switch 2 to the PlayStation 4 and even the PlayStation 4 Pro is kind of like a testament to that. Because I feel like based on what Nvidia shared after the Nintendo Switch um, presentation, also there are other channels on YouTube that are that are
Right.
comparing Nintendo Switch 2 games to current generation games. There's this one Spanish channel called El Analista de Bits. I think that's the name. They have been comparing Cyberpunk, Hogwarts, Street Fighter, and they've been comparing all of the systems from last generation to
Absolutely.
current. So like you'll see them comparing the PlayStation 4 version of Final Fantasy 7 Remake to the PlayStation 5 version of Final Fantasy 7 Remake. And I think that it's channels like that people can really rely on the most. And I hate to say that because I know that Digital Foundry is like the standard right now, but it is showing that they have a blind spot.
Wait, Ned, wait. Say what you just said again. They are the
Sorry?
what? What are they?
They are the standard when it comes down to figuring out, what system can do what can you
Everybody
expect, or where to
hold
play certain
on. See,
games.
y'all finna bring my preach out. Everybody hold on to what Nia just said. Digital Foundry is the standard. So their words and what
Hold a
they
lot of weight.
say carries weight. And it
Yes.
shapes how people sees things. Continue.
And I think that with that, Digital Foundry needs to be careful. Like I said, I don't think they're being nefarious, but I do think that there is an obvious blind spot because there's a lot of people, including the people at Digital Foundry, who just cannot shake this Nintendo narrative that they're always going to be the lesser brand, the less valuable, the less powerful, no matter what. Like there's a lot of people who will see, okay, the Nintendo Switch is kind of matching the Xbox Series. It's kind of doing some things that the ROG Ally is doing, but at a lower price point. Like it might not be high tier, but it's matching a lot of the things that we're seeing on current hardware.
Right.
But there will be people who will still feel like, oh, well, it's Nintendo. It's Nintendo. I ain't got to look at that. I already know what Nintendo's offering me. They're offering me last gen. And I think that Digital Foundry is only creating a confirmation bias for people who already believe that. And they got to be careful because YouTube channels like El Analista de Bits and then other channels who are comparing the current gen and then last gen to Nintendo Switch 2, they might be coming for their spot. So I would say, I guess to wrap this up, because I'm kind of getting long-winded, I don't think it's nefarious, but I do think it is the blind spot that a lot of non-Nintendo fans tend to have for Nintendo hardware that is causing the disconnect. And I'll leave it there.
Okay.
Hey, say that YouTube channel name again.
I got it up.
Just
I
for me.
already. I've been.
No,
every-
no,
El
say
Analista de Bits. It's
no,
Spanish.
hold on. Say it again, please.
Say it, please.
El Analista de Bits. I'll put it
I like
in the
when you
chat.
say it faster.
I don't even
I like
know.
when you
I got
Yeah,
it
you
up
said
here.
fast.
No, I'm Texan, so I know a little bit of
That's
Spanish.
what I'm like. Yeah, go ahead and say that. Talk your talk.
So I've been. That's what I've been sending y'all for the last few days is from them with the Street Fighters. And,
Oh, I know. It's been in my
Okay, so-
my algorithm.
Go ahead, K-Bomb. Give your thoughts and then give me the floor so I can preach.
Okay. Cool. So I got a chance to watch some of the videos that Digital Foundry did. Actually post one in the chat where they gave mad kudos to what the Switch is doing with Cyberpunk and when some other games they talked about how it looks better than what the PS4 doing. It's way better. They said it was, I forgot the word they used, but they talked about how it was. It wasn't just a small increase that they were seeing at the difference. They were saying it was much better than what the PS4 was doing. And they talked highly of it. And I watched the videos of Rich on IGN, and I tried to do it with as best I could, a non-biased point of view. And I would have to say this: I am not on board with this saying that Digital Foundry is trying to say that the Switch 2 is a PlayStation 4. Here's why I don't think they're saying it. Because I think every conversation that I've heard of from Digital Foundry, every single conversation, they have been high on the Switch. They have all said that there has not been a negative point or negative thing that they have said about the Switch. It's unless I'm wrong, that not a negative thing, as in like this is bad or
You
this
don't
is not good. The
you don't
Switch is
have to
not
be
doing this.
negative to
No,
be
I
dismissive.
understand that. I understand
Let
that.
him cook. Let him cook. Let him cook.
I'm trying to make a point.
Have it. Let them have it because it's
But
like
but
come
they
in.
haven't said negative every time they finish what they when they talk, they say this looks good or this is good, this is very good every single time. Okay, and so we're talking about this PS4 thing, and I'm going to touch on three games that they talked about. They talked about Yakuza. That was in
Cool.
one of the conversations, and they compared Yakuza to PS4 version of Yakuza and not the Xbox Series X. Well, the PS4 version runs the same resolution and frame rate as the Switch is right now. When I did the video, they saw that Yakuza was doing 1080-30. The PS4 does it 1080-30. Xbox Series X does it 1080-60. So the direct comparison is the PS4, not the Xbox Series S. So I can understand why they would say, well, yeah, it's similar because it's running the same resolution frame rate. They talked about Elden Ring, and they made a comparison again to the PS4. The PS4 is running Elden Ring 1080-60, or yeah, I think 60. Y'all looked that up. The Xbox Series S is running at 1440-60. And the Switch 2 is running at 1080-60. Again, the direct comparison is the PS4, not the Xbox Series S. They're not because they're not running the same resolution. It's the same. Look at the Final Fantasy remake. Again, PS4 runs at 1080-30. Xbox Series S runs at 1080-60. The Switch runs at 1080-30. Again, the direct comparison is the PS4, not the Xbox Series S, because of the frame rate. And so when I heard them talk about it, they talk about the games themselves being close to or the same, or they compare them to because they're running the same resolution, same frame rate. I don't see them saying it's not, because I haven't seen yet. Maybe I haven't watched enough videos, or maybe I'm not in the know enough. I have not seen them say it is an Xbox. Sorry, it is a PS4 basically. I see them make comparison to games that are out for both systems, and they make comparison to the game that is running the same resolution and frame rate as the Switch is. And I know Yakuza is supposed to be running at 4K, but it's not. The video that they examined was not 4K. It was 1080-30. And so they again made the comparison to the other system that's running 1080-30. But the thing is this, and Level, you said it was double talk, but I listened to it, and I don't believe it's double talk. So Rich talked about how he talked about the Steam Deck, and he talked about the raw power of the Steam Deck. He talked about the power utilization of the Steam Deck. So because he was saying they were similar in the undock mode, right? And maybe this Steam Deck has more power, but this is the reason he gave. The reason he gave is the Switch 2 has a 20 watt hour battery, right? And the Steam Deck has a 40 watt hour battery. And the time for the Switch, I believe they said it run at minimum 2 hours. And so he said, well, the amount of power that you're getting per hour on the Switch in undock mode is 10 watts an hour to hit that 2 hour mark. But for the Steam Deck, they said they've seen it push up to 28 watts an hour, which means it can push out more, it can consume more power. So they said based on that it may mean that it could, from that power standpoint, that's one way of looking at it. And then Rich came to say that even though that's the case, he was talking about Star Wars Outlaw, and how it does not run on the Steam Deck. And they have a series about how the games do not run on the Steam Deck. And he talked about the big difference that's going to be between the Steam Deck and the Switch in undock mode, because in dock mode, it blows away the Steam Deck. It's not even close. And he actually explained that in the video, how dock mode is it's not even you don't even make that comparison anymore. It blows the Steam Deck away. Don't even have that conversation. But they strictly undock mode. And how the Switch is most likely going to have well almost guaranteed the games are going to look better and play better on the Switch too. And the reason why he said that these games are going to be optimized for the Nintendo system. Unlike what you have with the Steam Deck, well, these are just the PC version of those games, and you don't really have um, the Steam Deck being optimized. It's just they just if you want to play on Steam Deck, hey, go ahead. But we're not optimizing for a Steam Deck. We're optimized for the PCs and those, but not the Steam Deck. But you're going to get games like Star Wars Outlaw that's going to run on the Nintendo Switch, where it can't run on the Steam Deck. And yeah, the Switch 2 is consuming less power, but it's still going to be a more powerful system when it comes to what it can do and what it can't do, compared to the games that's going to be running on it. And on Docomo, it's not even close to that argument. It's going to blow away the Steam Deck, and we want to have these conversations. But that was strictly on the undockable. So I don't. I'm not on the same boat. And again, I'm not the Nintendo guy, but I listen to the Nintendo community. I listen to when Nintendo was the laughing stock of third party and how people felt. And so I tried to go into these interviews with at the best I could with a non-bias. And we always have our biases, but as close to non-bias as I can get, so I can try to understand what they're actually saying, because it's hard. It's not hard for me. It is easy for me to understand. But I don't see I see them being conservative is what I see most. I see that Digital Foundry is very conservative when it comes to their expectations or their quotes about the Switch. One is that they don't have hands-on, so they're just going off of the video that they have.
What you just say? What you just say?
They haven't had the hands-on.
Okay, continue.
Hands-on.
Continue.
Yeah, so they're conservative with their explanations because they're just going off of the footage, and there's some issues with the footage as well. But I'll touch on that.
What you just say? There's what with the footage?
Some issues with the
Okay,
footage.
continue. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, you don't. I don't think you know what I'm talking about, but
I do know
that's
what
fine.
you're talking about.
Oh, we'll see.
Whenever
But
K Bomb is done, I do have something
yeah,
that
I'm done. That's it. I'm done.
Okay. Well, here's my rebuttal. And it's not necessarily anything that you said in particular. I think that everything that you said was fantastic. You always have really valid points. As far as like comparing you're comparing comparable uh situations. I get exactly what you're saying. Here's my thing though. With that, Digital Foundry, in particular, Digital Foundry has fashioned themselves as an informational channel.
Say that
This
again,
is a
Nia.
channel.
They what? They are what?
They have fashioned themselves as an informational channel
Okay.
in terms of newer products, cutting edge products. Their main job has solely been for the purpose of spreading information about the technology that we consume. So, with that being said, I hear everything that K Bomb is saying. I'm not trying to harp on anything that you're saying. I think that you're making some valid points. But what I will say is that because Digital Foundry has fashioned themselves as an informational space, and they don't really do a whole lot of opinion pieces, I think that it is a blind spot to not factor in that you're comparing newer hardware for better or for worse than what's currently on the market. And I feel like comparing like for like is helpful. It helps you to see how what's new compares to something similar that we've seen before, but you're also Digital Foundry specifically. I'm not just talking about a random channel, but Digital Foundry specifically has made a brand out of comparing current hardware. So I feel like that's what I meant when I said that there is a blind spot there. Instead of analyzing the Nintendo Switch 2 in terms of being a new product and comparing that to current hardware that's on the market at the same time as the Nintendo Switch 2, they are still in that space where they are comparing it to a previous generation because for better or for worse, that's where they expected it to be. For one, I'm not saying that they're being nefarious, but I do think there's a bias and I do think there's a blind spot. And I feel like they feel like their words have to match. We've made all of these videos about how the Nintendo Switch is going to be about as powerful as a PlayStation 4. So I feel like now they feel like they have to
Justify.
how do I say? Not necessarily
Qualify,
justify
qualify,
because
qualify.
I feel like saying words like justify insinuates that they're doing so for nefarious reasons. I think that
Let me
the
say it
word that
for
I'm
you.
using for is they are trying to quantify their previous words with the current situation that we're in instead of just be like, you know what? And Rich did say I was wrong about what I said before, but like now they need to say, okay, we were wrong. So now let's compare it to what we have on the market now. And I understand that a lot of the footage that they have been talking about is third party, I guess, because they didn't interact with the Nintendo Switch 2 themselves. But there are people out here doing the work. Like they're comparing previous to current for better or for worse. Of course, the PlayStation 5 is still going to blow anything out of the water. But when you could compare current hardware to current hardware, it makes it easier for people to get a better vision of what we're dealing with now versus what we were dealing with before. I don't know if
But
I'm
they don't
expressing
actually
myself.
have a comparison video yet. Oh, no, 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 that's his point. They don't actually have a comparison video yet
Wait a
where they
minute
do a
now.
side by side. Let me finish the point. They don't have a comparison when they do a side by side yet. They haven't done that. They just said and that's why they talk numbers. They're not
I get
talking just
that.
pure videos.
Ah,
And
I understand that they have to make videos to keep their channel afloat. They have to have something to talk about. But I do feel like it's disingenuous that if we're gonna talk about numbers, if we're gonna talk about all of that, why can't we include current as well? I don't feel like that should exclude talking about what's currently on the market. Like even if you're not gonna talk about um the PlayStation 4. Like I know that they talk about Steam Deck as well, but like there's other things on the market that I feel like they keep saying, "Oh, Switch 2 is gonna blow the Steam Deck out of the water. It's blowing it out of the water." Okay, so let's move on to the Lenovo. Let's move on to the ROG. At least that will cater to like the current market of at least handheld users. Compare it to the Xbox Series X when it's in dock mode. If you're gonna go out of your way talk about dock mode, now we're talking about something completely different. Like I think people are forgetting that the Nintendo Switch is two consoles in one. It is a
yes, it
hybrid
is.
console.
Mm-hmm.
You are talking
Mm-hmm.
about a console that also has a handheld side and a console side. You can dock it to
Exactly.
your TV. The dock does a little bit extra now, whereas the previous one
Cooling
did
system.
not, which makes it a little bit more comparable to a top box under your TV. And I feel like if you are an informational channel like Digital Foundry, and again, I'm not saying they're being nefarious. I'm not going to go as far as level. I don't think they're hating. I've watched a few Digital Foundry videos where they have been like over the moon about what Nintendo was offering and all of the things that the Nintendo Switch is doing. So I don't think they're being nefarious by any stretch of the means, but I do think there's a blind spot, and I do think that it is a disservice for people who are trying to get that information from a website, specifically Digital Foundry, to get the
right.
information for what's coming next.
So let me jump in here. So everybody said what they have to say. Let me take the floor. Now, if my compadres would be honest, they will tell you that I've been calling this out way before Nintendo revealed the Switch 2 last week. How, Keith, if you be honest, how long have I been pulling this out? How
That
long
was
have
my
I been?
opening sentence. That was my opening sentence, but you've been calling it out for a while since I've been talking about it.
Since I started calling this out, I think even last year, but definitely at the top of the year, when the rumors was hitting, I was like, I find it strange that Digital Foundry ain't covering none of the rumors that's supposed to be hidden. They covered PlayStation 5 extensively, the PlayStation 5 Pro extensively. But I was like, wow. So I will go over to Moore's Law, they covering, everybody covered, breaking down all the what's possible. They would not cover it. So I'm gonna say this: can I prove that Digital Foundry is being disingenuous? Can I prove that Digital Foundry is being misleading? I believe so, and this is why. K-Bum, hold your horses. I hear you breathing hard. Hold your horses. In the very video that they was comparing Final Fantasy VII for the Switch 2 to the PlayStation 4, the guy, I can't think of his face, not Rich, not John, but the heavyset boy
Ollie.
with the list. Ollie said, and this is the word. Keith, remember they said this? This is a, what did they say? I had it up on my thing. I asked you, what did this mean? Because Rich said it. What does this mean? This is a natural comparison.
I don't even know when you said that.
No, Rich said this is a natural comparison. The PlayStation 4 to the Switch 2 is a natural comparison, isn't it? And they always like, yes, it sure is. And I'm like, and like I told y'all before, I'm going to say it on this podcast, it's not what you say. It's what you don't say. It's not what you show. It's what you don't show. It's not the facts that you bring up. It's also the facts that you withhold. Which goes back to what Nia said. Nia said they have positioned themselves as the premier informed or informational channel when it comes to graphics and the power and the capability of these hardwares. And for some reason, they are intentionally, in my opinion, withholding facts around the Switch 2, and I don't know why. Now, in the very video where they showing Final Fantasy VII and they comparing it to the PlayStation 4, they say this looks almost exactly the same, right? And then that guy comes in and he says, well, it's a lot better in the light. It looks noticeably better. But that's because it's running the what version, Keith? The integrated version. The integrated version. They didn't say the PlayStation 5 version. Notice I said right,
because it's the only version.
Yeah, integrate is the PC version.
The PC and the PlayStation 5 version, which goes to what Nia was saying, is the current version. They don't tell you, and if you're watching Digital Foundry and you don't know that the integrated version is only on the PlayStation 5 and the PC, they can slide that information in and make it seem like, oh, it's just a little bit better, but they don't let you know it's better because it's being built off a more modern game, not the game that you're comparing it to. The same thing with Cyberpunk. It was the exact same thing. They showed the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Pro version. Well, you got many other videos out here that show you that the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4 Pro version.
They showed the PS4 version. No. I'm asking for clarification.
Yes.
What video they showed the PS4? Because I saw them talk about it. I didn't show a comparison video.
Right. They
only I heard them talk. I didn't hear them show a comparison video.
I'm going to send you all the videos. I thought I sent you all this.
I watched what they talked about.
I got you. I get it. Okay, I'm going to share with you other people that do what Digital Foundry does, who is telling a whole different story that Digital Foundry is shaping. Now, like
no. I was just addressing the point that you said Digital Foundry showed the PS4 version.
No, I didn't say Digital Foundry. I didn't.
Okay. Thank you. That's what I was trying to get. That's what I was trying to get understanding. Thank you.
Digital Foundry showed the version of Cyberpunk on the Switch 2, and they said it compares to the PlayStation 4 version.
No, they said it blows it out the water.
But
I sent the video. They didn't say compared to the PS4 version.
Let me finish.
They literally said it was way better than the PS4 version.
No,
we got company, fellas. We got company.
No, but K-Bum, I listened to you. You said a whole bunch of stuff that wasn't accurate.
I sent that video to you. And was that the video?
K-Bum. Because I know you
I'm just trying to make sure we're in the same.
Hold your horses. We're in the same page. I held my horses for about 15 minutes, brother, while you was talking. I let you cook. Let me have my moment. I told you, K-Bum, several times that you don't want to listen to me when I try to tell you it. They are shaping a narrative. They are intentionally shaping a narrative to put the Switch 2 with the old generation. So, because they say it looks better doesn't matter when you continue to compare it to the old generation. So in the same sense, that's what I meant, you double talking. You can't say it looks better than the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4 Pro, yet say in the same breath, this is a natural comparison, isn't it? Man, it's pretty much a PlayStation 4. Man, let's compare it to the PlayStation 4. So I asked y'all a question in the chat. I said, if you keep saying...
They never said it's pretty much a PlayStation 4.
Bro,
They've never said that.
K-Bum, I just quoted what Rich said. Rich said, isn't this a natural comparison? What does natural mean?
They never said it's simply a PlayStation 4. They
K-Bum,
talked about the game. They never said the Switch 2.
I'm not letting you do it, K-Bum. I'm not letting you do it. Answer my question.
I've watched every video.
You ain't watched as much as I have.
I told you.
You have not watched as much. No, answer my question.
I'm trying to answer the question.
I haven't asked it.
I already answered the question.
No, answer my question.
Wait, are you going to let me ask the question?
Let me ask it.
You keep yelling at me.
Let me ask it.
You just asked the question. You said the natural. What did that mean?
What does natural comparison mean?
I just told you when I talked about mine. When they compare 1080 to 30, the same comparison to 1080 to 30. I just talked about that.
Okay,
I just talked about that in my piece.
So why can't I show you? Wait a minute. So why can't I show you other channels that took the same footage that digital didn't show you, but said it's a natural comparison, but did not show you it? And show you Cyberpunk not naturally comparing to the PlayStation 4 or the PlayStation 4 Pro, but more naturally comparing to the Xbox Series X, and PlayStation 5.
Did they say Cyberpunk was naturally comparing? Was that the game or the different game? I'm asking the question. Was it that game or was it a different game?
The whole system. They said the Switch 2 is a natural comparison to the PlayStation 4.
They talked about the game. They didn't talk about the system is.
Oh my God, bro! How is this going over your head, K-Bum? If I'm using the PlayStation 4 as the big benchmark for what I'm using to show you what the Switch is, and in all my old material, when I made the mock-up system, I said it's basically a PlayStation 4. When I said what it's not going to do, it's not going to be better than the Steam Deck. It's not going to do an Xbox Series S. It's not going to compare to any of those. It's basically going to be probably a PlayStation 4 if. That's what you've been preaching for the last 2 years. You didn't believe it would do 120 when they said it would. You didn't believe it to do 4K when they said it would. You didn't believe none of these things. You didn't even believe it to do DLSS. Now it's doing all the things that you did not believe. And in your own video, you compare it to the PlayStation 4, say it's a natural comparison, yet in the same breath say it's better looking than the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Pro, yet you never bring the Xbox Series X and show it compared to those devices, just like Nia said. So there is a intentional reason why you're not doing something versus what you are doing. And you are setting the narrative because you are Digital Foundry. Now, because you're a Christian, K-Bum, I take you to something that you might understand what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. When Jesus was talking to the Pharisees and he was introducing himself as the Savior and they rejected him, what did he say to them? He said, you full well reject the truth to hold on to your traditions. Digital Foundry has set a precedent and said some things that they're still trying to hold on to, and like Nia said, they're trying to validate what they said. And everything they said is proven to be wrong. That's why John, when the brother was trying to say, yes, this is not this, and it's not that, John said, wait a minute, bro. This game is an open world game doing this across a map the size, this huge size. This is that within this, I'm getting passionate, but that, because I've been fighting for this argument for a minute. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They said, this is just in that alone blows anything. They was trying to say that Mario Kart World can run on the Switch. And the dude's like, John was like,
Okay. He did say that.
he did say that, K, but I'm like, you can't selectively, you got to listen to what they saying. All the way through thoroughly. I've been listening to John.
He said it's doing more, but he said marginally more. Is what he said.
What does marginally mean, bro?
He said marginally more.
It's
And then
not
the other guy came out and said, you have to understand that this is an open world, and that just because the scale of the game is doing a whole lot more, you have to take that into consideration.
John,
he said your only comparison that you made was just on like was the technical comparisons.
Right. And that's my point.
And he said technically is not doing. He said technically is not doing that much more. That's what he said.
Right.
He didn't say get run on the quit. He said technically is not doing that much more, but he said it's doing, since it's open world.
Right.
You have to take that in consideration. But that
is
not saying it's running on the Switch.
K-Bum, but it sets a narrative, bro. If I say it's not doing that much more, that means the system ain't that great.
But technically, but the thing is, everything he said was true, though.
No, it wasn't.
Everything, yes, no. The things he said was not in it. The things he said was not in it, and that it was doing was true. The guy didn't disagree. He disagreed with the fact that it's doing it, but you have to understand the scale, and that makes it way more and way higher than it could do on the Switch.
I'm sorry that we're doing this, but this has been something I've been on for a minute. Like I said before, K-Bum, it's not what you say. Is what you don't say. So you bring up varimetric clouds, but you didn't say nothing about varimetric lighting. That's there. You didn't say nothing about the textures and the bump that's changed me from. You didn't say about all the changes that you can see, because you a tech, they tech guys. They got the eyes. They see what all these other channels see. They see all the other channels. While every other channel that do what they do, telling a whole different story, saying a whole bunch of stuff that Digital Foundry is not saying. So if you say it's marginally better, if you say, oh, that's a natural comparison to the PlayStation 4, what are you setting up? You setting a narrative. The narrative is this is basically the old generation. You can say that's not what they're doing, but K-Bump, that is what they've been doing for a minute. John blew it up. A few others blew it up. Now is they getting criticized in their own comment sections about what are you guys talking about? That's the PlayStation 5 version. That's the PC version. How you saying it's the PlayStation 4 version, yet in the same breath say it looks better than the PlayStation 4? That is a contradiction within itself. They literally did that. And then go on to say, yeah, it's more comparable to a PlayStation 4. It's like this is stupid. When you have an Xbox Series S, you have a PlayStation 5, you have an Xbox Series X, you have those systems that is more in comparison to this platform, which they said they try to compete with the Xbox Series S. That's what NVIDIA said. That's what they take the video that they used to say that Yakuza, however you say it, was running at 1080p, but what did Sega say it's going to be running at? And the footage that they're using is obscured poor footage.
But that's the only thing you have to go by. You can't make a video on what it could be. You make a video about what it is.
But they just did make a video they made a video off of footage that they can't guarantee is right. And made a factual statement about it. Like Nia said, if you are the standard, and you pride yourself as being that standard, you can't come in and undermine your own standard.
What and that's when they find. So we talked about footage. So we're not talking about the same footage. When I find out the footage is fake, and they actually talked about this. And so John assumed, because it's Nintendo and Nintendo has their own standards on how they show videos, they assume that the Tony Hawk 3 and 4.
Rich did.
No. John, the middle guy. I'm talking about the middle guy.
Okay.
I'm talking about the guy that sits in the middle with not the bald headed old guy. I'm not talking about him. When they were talking about the third party games, you say what? I'm not talking about the old bald guy.
Oh, okay.
I got you. I was just saying who it was.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. John, the other guy, the one who corrected Ali. They were going over the third party games. They were talking about the third party games, and they were talking about Tony Hawk. 3 and 4, and they were talking about how when they captured it at 4K 60. And John said that he understands how Nintendo works, and if you're going to show something on Nintendo is very strict on what you show. And so he said, I'm going to believe that this game is running 4K 60 on the Nintendo Switch, because I know how Nintendo handles their footage. When you actually go to the website, the YouTube, the video of Tony Hawk and their Switch video on their YouTube channel, it says captured by PC. It is not the Switch version that they showed at the showcase. They showed the PC version at the showcase. Yeah. But John said, I'm going to believe it anyway. No, he didn't have that information when he reviewed it. He just says, I know how Nintendo is, and he believed it to be 4K 60 from Nintendo Switch 2, and he talked about it from this is Nintendo's version of the game, but it's found out later afterwards. And John actually talked about this in the IGN interview. Not John, sorry, Rich talked about it in the IGN interview, where he talked about how there was some fake footage in the showcase that they found out later, and that was the Tony Hawk video that was actually captured by PC and was not the Switch 2 version of the game running. But they went ahead and gave credit when they didn't know, but they gave credit to Nintendo and said, "Yep, they can do the 4K 60." That's something I found out today when doing a little extra research. That's why I understand your position level, and I can't prove what they don't say. I can't prove why they don't say certain things. I don't. But the thing is, no one can really prove why they don't say what they don't say.
But I can prove what they're not showing.
But no, we don't know why they're going in the direction that they're going. We can make assumptions. We can make assumptions on what we believe, and I can't. Okay. We can argue. Brother, we can argue those positions.
I'm not even arguing because it's so many. There's so many videos out here that literally is showing you it. That's my point. There is plenty of videos out here that's showing you the clear difference.
And I'm telling you that they're getting credit to Nintendo when it was a 4K 60 video there. They said, "Yep, Nintendo can do it. The Switch can do it.
That's fine, but
the Switch can do 4K 60, which is the same thing that the PS5 is doing on Tony Hawk."
My point is, K-Bum, they have why if it's plenty of footage out here in droves, bro. Literally showing you I played it right here in the podcast while we was talking. That clearly show you the asset difference between the Switch 2 version and the PlayStation 4 version, and it's totally different. Then they show the Xbox Series X version and the Switch 2 version, and they identical. You don't think Rich has seen this footage? You don't think they have access and know this footage exists? They do. The same people that they get contact kicked, they know more than that they letting you know. So my question is, if you know more, if you don't know, then say I don't know. And like Nia said,
and they have been saying that. They've been saying in the podcast on the stuff they don't know about. It said theoretically, this is what we feel. We won't know until we get our hands on.
That's my point. You can't say what we feel because you're not based on feeling. You are a channel of facts.
And they say we don't. We say we don't. We haven't. We know when we get our hands on. But what the footage that we observe, this is what we see.
You don't. Okay, so you're using poor footage that you just acknowledged was poor footage. Footage from side angles. Footage from Smush YouTube video.
No. I didn't say any of that. They used the footage from the direct.
I'm talking about them. They're using.
They use footage from the direct. I haven't seen side footage. I've seen. So they can't analyze someone recording a video. They have to analyze the actual Nintendo Direct video.
That's what I'm saying. But listen to what I said, bro. Stop talking and listen for a second. The footage I'm talking about is the Nintendo Direct footage. But it's not, it's angles and side and off-screen stuff. They're not analyzing. They're analyzing footage from a YouTube clip. And there's other footage out here. And even in that footage, you see the asset difference. If one footage don't have a puddle on the ground and water and foliage, and then you show another clip where it has water and foliage, and it doesn't compare to the PlayStation 4 version, but when you see somebody else show the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 version, and it has all that there, that clearly lets you know it's not pulling from the same place. It's built on that version. That's there in the footage. And they still telling you it's more comparable to the old version. That's them doing that intentionally. And I'm not going to belabor this. We're not going to agree. I believe that I was glad where, Nia, thank you for sharing Super Metal Day video and allowing, because I've been saying this for about 4 or 5 months. Even before last week, I've been saying something's off with the coverage that they give it to the Switch 2. It's strange to me. Then when the thing come out and it proves to be more than what you said, you still saying similar stuff to what you said prior to them proving you wrong. And when people started calling you out on it and is calling them out on it, it gives me credence to where I was feeling. I can't say it's nefarious, but I can say it's not what Digital Foundry typically have done in the past when they covered stuff. This is a new thing for them in my book. I'm not going to give any message. Y'all see the footage. I'm not the only one showing this footage. Y'all seen it all through the podcast where everything has shown for the Switch 2 is clearly beyond the PlayStation 4. You see it. I don't even have to argue the point. Anybody else got anything to add to this before we move on?
I'm just going to say this. When Nintendo, when Digital Foundry get their hands on the Switch 2 and they have their tech analysis, I'll be there day one. But right now, this is just interesting because I think K-Bum is talking about game by game and you're talking about the system in totality. And I think the debate will be ended once they actually get their hands on it. And when these ports that these third parties are making are complete. I don't think any of these ports are complete.
True.
I think they gave us enough to say, hey, they're coming, they're working, so just get ready. But I don't think any of these games are even in their final form. I'm not even in my final form yet. So
they actually called that out too in the conversation with IGN.
Did they?
Rich called out the fact that the fact that Cyberpunk was done in 7. He's like, and they're targeting the 40 frames per second performance mode. He was like, they're not even close. This is going to look much better whenever they get to it because 7 weeks is crazy. Yeah, he also agreed that whatever they're showing here is the final product is going to look even better.
So why keep referencing the PlayStation 4? Now you can't say that's me.
I'm not having that conversation. I just said
I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one calling them out on that. Right. I'm not the only one that has caught that. Everybody is catching it. So when I said it and I was boo-boo and wrong and just tripping, why everybody else catching the same thing I'm hearing? I've been called it. I've been said it. I said it in noise at nauseum. Yet some kind of way they not doing something odd. Yeah, they doing something odd. But we can say it might not be nefarious, but it ain't genuine. It's not genuine. Something is disingenuous in what they doing, in my opinion. I'll leave it at that. Y'all see the footage? Go check it out for yourself. The Switch 2 is a current. The farthest you can go back is current gen. Xbox Series X is about where it's at. It may be even better in some ways.
I mean, the PlayStation 4 Pro is actually terafloply, that's not a word, more powerful than the Xbox Series S. Terafloply is actually more powerful if you're looking at teraflops.
But from
the
an architecture, but we're not looking at just teraflops.
I'm just making a statement here.
I know based on
but when you look at the next gen feature, you look at the RAM, you look at the GPU and the other pieces. The Xbox Series S is a more powerful system.
Right, because it's built on a newer, modern architecture that may
Yeah,
not need as many teraflops to achieve the same
I
thing that the
understand.
place. Okay, so
I mean, that's
it's.
what I was saying. That's the point I'm making. I wasn't going against that point. I'm trying to make that point.
I didn't think it was a necessary point because it's more powerful than the PlayStation 4. But on the teraflop side, well, it's still more powerful than the PlayStation 4. That's so, and I feel like there's something. Anyway, forget that. Y'all got to ran out of me in an argument between me and K Bum. That should have given y'all a great show for tonight. Neil, you still there? Neil, you still
We showed out in front of
Huh?
company.
Don't
We
think we
showed out
gonna
in
not
front of
do it.
company.
We gonna do what we
Yeah,
do.
I completely zoned out. I was just listening and forgot I was even on the mic.
Yeah, my bad, Nia. No, you just got to understand. I've been in the chat. This is something that spilled. This is me. Reason I'm like I am, because when I'm saying stuff I get in the chat room, both these dudes don't want to act like I'm just talking crazy. And I'm like, man, okay, all right. I say so,
You're not being attacked.
and I ain't say I was being attacked. I said y'all be acting like I'm talking crazy, like I'm just on one of my wish hunts. But then I say keep that same energy when it start coming out, and then when it start coming out, I said I told y'all. Now y'all want to listen to when my instincts get to going and I see something, I pick on something. I'm telling you, book it when I bring something to you. I
That's
brought
like
this
someone
to
said.
you.
That's like someone saying the refs is cheating all the time, and then when they actually do
Book
cheat, see, I
it,
told you the refs cheating.
book it.
My
No, but
my position on that is just I just try to challenge your positions a lot of times to like make it to deepen it. You know what I mean? Like, did you see this? Did you see that? I know K-Bone does the same thing. Did you see? I'm not necessarily saying you're wrong. I'm like, I want to see what you're seeing, but also want to see it from this angle. You know,
yeah,
they said this, but you're saying that. So, did you see that? And then
yeah.
you'll come back with something. You always come back with something else, and it's
Just like I said, now that y'all see that I'm not the only one catching on. I caught that. I caught that early, and it's been often. And I feel like people just trying to hold on what they said. Why? I don't know. But anyway, why be wrong?
What think?
No,
Thank
no,
you,
no,
Cherry
no.
Man. No,
Yeah.
Cherry Man said this podcast is on fire.
I said I gave y'all a rant, and me and K Bum argue, and Nia on here. So let's get to our last topic. So the tariffs have been lifted for 90 days. So that's within the window of June 5th. We don't know when Nintendo is going to open up for Canada and the United States to pre-order the system, but there is still a 10% tariff that's still out there. So the question I have for y'all is, how do you think Nintendo is going to handle this situation? Do you believe they're going to raise the price? Do you believe, how do you think they're going to play it? Nia, since you zoned out in our argument, I give the floor to you.
I actually saw something earlier. I didn't really delve too deep into it, so hopefully I'm not spreading misinformation. But actually, let me go to my Twitter because I feel like I shared it
don't be
earlier
digital foundry
today.
now. Come on now.
Yeah, let me look it up before I give my thoughts. Is that cool?
That's
Yeah,
cool.
that's
That's
cool.
cool.
Keith, go ahead. You've been silent for, it was me and K Bun for the last 20 minutes. Go ahead.
well, I heard, and like I think I told y'all this. I heard that the systems are already here in the U.S. And apparently they've been stockpiling them to be sold in the U.S. and I'm assuming Canada as well, since they are also being on the 90-day thing as well.
Where did you hear that from?
No, he's correct because that's exactly where I was gonna go with this.
Oh,
There's a
look at you!
Bloomberg
Look at
a
you!
Bloomberg article. I'm sorry, Keith.
Go
We so
ahead.
in sync. But
Go ahead.
so there's a Bloomberg article that said that Nintendo is stockpiling millions of Nintendo Switch 2
I seen
units
that.
into the United States from Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
From Vietnam? Yes.
from
Yes.
Vietnam, and also
Yes.
to add a little bit more to it. I'm sorry, Keith. I just took over your segment. I'm
No,
No,
sorry.
go
go ahead.
ahead. Do it. Do it. Do
You
it. Do
felt
it.
like
Good. I
you was
opened
supposed
the
to be
door.
first anyways.
I
Um,
opened the door for you to talk, Nia. That you got the flow. Go ahead
but
now.
before because I've been following this closely, but before the pause on the current tariffs, there was a report that came out that said Vietnam had already folded. So I
Yeah, I saw
guess
that too.
Vietnam and the United States had already been in communication, and that they were negotiating some type of trade deal or something like that. So when did Nintendo move all of their shipment and all that kind of stuff to Vietnam? It's like
February.
2019. No, it was years ago
Oh,
that they
years ago.
did it.
Sorry.
Because they did it, and then PlayStation and Xbox did it as well. Because homeboy Orange Man, I
That was
almost said the
around.
word, but the Orange Man,
Yeah, that was about.
was talking about running again and all that kind of stuff and all the
Yeah,
kind of
that was
things he was
about
gonna do. And
3 4 years ago that they did that.
yes, so PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo already preemptively moved all their manufacturing from China to Vietnam. But anyway, and anyhow, like last week when we figured out all of this stuff had happened, there were reports saying that Vietnam had folded. So I'm assuming that they decided to go ahead and stockpile and all that kind of stuff according to Bloomberg, and bring those on over to the United States. And also Apple was doing the same thing. Like there was a report a couple of days ago that saying that Apple had sent like 5 planes from
Yes.
China or
Yes.
somewhere in Asia over to the
Yes.
United States to prepare for the preemptive tariffs and everything like
Hmm.
that. Um anyway, I say out of that I completely lost the question. Could you please repeat the question?
No,
You answered it.
you answered it. What? How do you feel like Nintendo is going to respond within this window? Do you believe they're going to raise the price because of the lingering 10%? How do you think? And when do you perceive them allowing U.S. and Canada to pre-order?
Well, based on the news, with the whole pausing the tariffs for 90 days, and then the fact that Vietnam had already folded, I do think that Nintendo is going to keep, um, I think they're going to keep the $450 price point. I don't think they're going to fold on that. I think that, like, Nintendo, they do a lot of stupid stuff, but they see in these comments about the prices. They're not going to raise that price because I feel like if they're doing the thing where they're flying, um, stock into the United States in preparation for the tariffs, I think they already understand that they're probably gonna have to be how do I say, they're gonna have to be strategic with the way that they roll these things out because depending on how the tariff situation goes, they're probably going to have a limited amount within the United States to make sure that they get to the people. So I think what could possibly happen is that they will keep it at 450, but they will limit the retailers that you can get the Nintendo Switch 2 through. So they might be like, okay, you can only get the Nintendo Switch 2 through our website and Walmart, or like our website or like Best Buy. I think that they will get more aggressive also with like how many you could purchase at a time. I remember when before the Orange Man became the president and all that kind of stuff, they were already kind of
Good
talking
job.
about
Good
ways to
job.
kind of thank you very much. I know you're so proud of me.
The
So
Orange
they were
Man.
already talking about how they were trying to figure out how to keep scalpers at bay when the Nintendo Switch 2 comes out, and you already know that their scalpers are out and they ready.
Oh
Especially with
yeah,
this tariff
this is
situation.
it.
Oh, they
This
trying
is
to
it.
they trying to make bank. So I feel like the best thing that Nintendo could do right now is kind of try to funnel the Nintendo Switches that they have already in the United States through like through smaller channels. It's kind of like trying to get like a moose through like a needle hole. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, but they're
Yeah.
gonna figure out a way to do it in a way that where they can keep the price point at least comparable to what they have already announced, but just make it just figure out a different way to kind of like roll them out. And I know, when the 3DS and all that kind of stuff was coming out, they had kind of like a rollout. Like they would roll it out in Japan, and then they would roll it out in Europe, and then they would roll it out in the United States. So I could see them doing something similarly, but I don't think they're gonna change their price. I think what's gonna happen is everything else around the launch. I guess to keep it short and sweet. Y'all know I can ramble, but
Oh, you
yeah, that's about it.
okay? K Bone, go ahead. Oh well, no, no, no.
Let Keith finish. Let
Keith,
Keith
go
finish
ahead.
his.
Yeah, that's what I was. Go ahead.
So yeah, they got the tariffs. No, I'm sorry, because Nia came in with a steamroller. But I think there's a few things also, like she mentioned, the website. They got the registration going on right now for those people who have been playing enough Nintendo games, and I think you also got to have NSO I've already registered for the Mario Kart bundle, and they are like I went on there today, and they was like, you can't change your mind. If you register for this one, then this is the one that you said that you wanted to get. Because they have to be very precise on what they're doing, and I think that's how they're going to try to get around this. And you know how Doug was saying that they didn't factor in the tariffs and things like that. That may be true because they already had the systems here, and the fact that Nintendo will not move their date. When the tariffs and things started, when they was talking about it, they were like, "No, we're still coming at June 5th." Like that is a hard date. So Nintendo's been strategically planning. You know, they're very quiet on everything. They won't even tell us who's making Donkey Kong Bonanza. So they're very quiet on how they're moving. And I'm in agreement with Nia. I can't see them changing the price, but I do think what sucks is the people after this wave and everything is sold out. They're probably going to have to pay a higher price. But I don't see that them changing the price. I think that Nintendo's already been planning this, and I'm also in agreement with her with the whole limit the retailers. Like we can't have it everywhere, and if they could funnel it in like okay only Best Buy, then we know we can only focus on Best Buy and we can control how many people are buying it because like she said the scalpers are going to be out in full effect, and I promise you. I will be playing Metroid Prime 4 on the regular Switch if I got to deal with a scalper. I'm not doing it. So that's my position on it.
As all of us probably will be. Go ahead, K-Bump. Oh, wait a minute. Hold up. Rage of Banana, I ain't see you down there. Welcome to the show. And Dark 301. Welcome to the show as well. I did see you. I just got to give you a shout out. All right, go ahead, K-Bump.
So I'll be short and sweet. So I heard the same about the Vietnam, and there are some in Switch 2s in America, but then there are still a lot still being made now, and they're saying that a third of the Switches are being made in the Vietnam factories. So that means the other are still being shipped out from different countries, maybe China. I'm not exactly sure. I think China. And so what that means to me, because there's still a lot that's still being made. I think America is going to get. I don't think they're going to budge on the price. I think everybody kind of said that. I think they're spot on. I think they're already taking enough flack from the prices, so they're because they didn't just raise the price off the bat. They're trying to keep to their price. But I think what's going to happen is that it's going to be thin in America. I think there may be 2 waves of pre-orders. I think there may be a small pre-order for those systems that's already in America. They may do a pre-order for that. And then they may do another round of pre-orders after 90 days, closer to the launch of the system. I think that may be in order. Do we even have 90 days from the system launch?
Yeah.
I think it's just about 90 days.
Just about 90 days. I think they may have another one closer to maybe another pre-order session closer to that date, where they kind of can ship off maybe the ones they have in Vietnam. But I don't think those in China are coming to America. They're not going to eat that price. They're not going to eat that price. It's too much. They're up to 125 right now with the tariffs in China, unless something changed. So what I think is America's going to get a very short supply. And so I think that if you want to switch, you need to find some way to do it because I don't think there's going to be a lot available. I think we're going to get whatever is in America now and then what they can get out of Vietnam, and that'll be what America gets. And the other 2/3 that's being made in other places will be sent out to the other countries. So that's my thought. I'll keep it short and sweet.
Okay, so today is the 10th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So June 1st will be about 60 days from now.
Okay, so it's not. We don't have 90.
Okay, never mind.
So I'm going to disagree. I believe that they have a lot of product already here. Because like Nia said, they've been shipping from Vietnam here for a while now. Because they already projected to have the biggest launch in video game history. They saying they projecting the Switch 2 to sell maybe 15 million at lunch. So that, and America is their biggest market. So
Yes.
they're not going to avoid America. They're going to put, if anything, they're going to put as many as possible in the States, which I believe that's what they're doing. And I believe they're going to stockpile within this window of time. They're going to have so much shipped over from Vietnam to here. And I have an article up, and I think it's from Bloomberg, where it says, we believe the switch to building bill of materials around $400. So for a lot of people that was questioning why Nintendo is charging $450, well, the system itself costs for $399, $400, meaning Nintendo will still be selling consoles at a loss in the United States with 10% tariffs. But the loss would be something Nintendo would be able to absorb, says Hideka Yasuda. I think that's how you say it, of Tokyo Security. Sony is in a tougher situation as most of its PlayStation products production is in China, and it may be forced to hike PlayStation 5 prices up in the United States in the near future. So I believe Nintendo is going to bring over from Vietnam as much as they could possibly get over here within that time, and then they will keep that price where it currently is because they want the system to be successful at launch. Now, depending on how the tariffs change after that 90 days, we don't know. So what I also believe is going to create a instant demand and urgency to get it now, because people are going to want to avoid that tariff. So I believe Nintendo is going to stockpile as much as they can in their biggest market. Their biggest selling place is America. And I believe the tariffs may, and I said this to Keith in the chat, or both of you guys in the chat, that the tariff may have played a unexpected benefit to get people to buy, even though they upset with that $450, to jump on it now because they fear that it's going to be even more at a later date. So they're going to sell a lot. And so I believe they can kind of stay pat. I don't know when they're going to go live with their pre-orders here in the States and Canada, but I think they can stay packed with that $450, $499. And I believe that tariff fear of it being more down the road after those 90 days is going to be an incentive for those that may be on the fence to jump off the fence and get in it's going to help them make their decision to purchase. That's what I believe is going to happen. Anything else on this topic? Because I know we're getting late, so I don't want to hold us here too much longer. I see Fred 215. What's up, bruh? I saw Wise Guy 3683. I saw a stranger. I ain't never seen this person. Jurion XP. He just came to say, hey, dear. Man, you drawing them out there. You got people that ain't never even commented. So anyway.
Well, you know, I did share. I usually always share the podcast.
Oh, okay. So they heard us. They heard me ranting and yelling on here. Oh my Lord. Well, I ain't got a chance to rant in a long time, so
shut up, K-Bomb. Listen to me.
I didn't say shut up.
You said shut up.
I
you may not remember.
Shut up. I did not say
you
shut
may
up.
not remember. Level.
I
you
said
shut up.
Did I say shut up?
You said shut up.
Y'all hear me say tell K-Bomb to
I
shut up?
I thought he said be quiet. I don't know.
Either way, there was an expectation for you to sit down, K-Bomb. I mean,
yeah, I said give me. I said if you give me. I said hold up. I said
you ain't say the many words. You ain't say the many words. No,
I
hold
said
up.
hold up. If you would let me speak, if you would hold your horses and let me speak. I did not tell you to shut up. I know I didn't do that.
Run it back.
Hey, chat room, keep this guy honest. Did I tell K-Bomb to shut up? I want you to tell me the truth.
Go back.
Because if I did,
hush it up.
If I did, I owe this brother.
Comic Book said he heard it. He heard the shut up.
I did not say shut up, man.
Level.
Okay, well, I apologize. If I said that, I apologize.
Was that in 4K? Was that in 4K?
That in 4K? Was that shut up in 4K? I don't know. It felt a little bit higher than the PS4.
I don't feel like I told you. I don't think I told you.
I heard it.
My bad, bro. If I said shut up, I was really passionate. I said,
oh, you was very passionate.
Okay.
You gave me
Thank you,
that
Rachel Banana. She said I didn't hear me tell you to hush. I don't believe I told you to shut up, man.
She came in the late. She wasn't here. I don't know.
But anyway, y'all got y'all money's worth tonight. Nia, I enjoyed you tonight.
Thank you so much, friend. Thank you for the invite.
We gotta make this happen more often. You came on a couple of times before though, but we gotta make this
I've
more.
been here before.
Yeah, we gotta make this more often, more frequent.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You bring such a perspective that it's just it's just so dope. But anyway, I apologize for me and K Bum letting our hair down.
I apologize for nothing.
Now, can I ask a question real quick before we shut it down?
Go ahead.
When do y'all think that they're gonna open those pre-orders up?
Ooh,
man,
I don't know, but I need to be ready.
You know what I think? I think that they're gonna open up next week after the Mario Kart Direct.
Ooh.
Possibly. That makes sense. It'll be a week on Wednesday. That's because they were supposed to do it this past Wednesday, so a week after. But let me say this: with Trump volatile, not consistent self, they better move quick, cause he can liable to say it's back on. You know, we don't know what Trump gonna do. So
because that dude is crazy.
He is retarded. Lord, I can't say that. He is special. He's special.
It was canceled.
He's special. I caught myself. Let me see. I wanted to read this. Heart and Soul said levels aura said shut up. Okay, I'll give you that.
My God.
That's probably true.
That was his soul voice.
His soul voice. Yeah, his soul voice, Keith. Oh my God.
That's probably true. That's probably true.
Reference.
But I don't think I told you to shut up, K-Bo. I'm not allowing you to get that off. I did not tell you.
But I wouldn't. You know I wouldn't allow you to, bro. You know I wouldn't allow you like
if
that.
If I did, I apologize.
My man said he said stop talking and listen.
Yeah, I did say that. I said if you would stop talking and listen, but that's not telling you to shut up.
Aura.
That is the same thing. Shut up. What you mean?
Wait,
shut up.
Did y'all see what Comic Book said?
What'd you say? What'd you say, Nia? What Comic Book Crunch? I want to come on, but I don't want to get yelled at. Oh my Lord. Y'all don't understand what I be going through all through the week with these two dudes in the chat room. Y'all just don't understand. D2K, it comes from the chat. This is from my chat. This is me and my frustration with having to text two dudes trying to get them to see something, and then here come Keith Nia, and he just an agitator. So is it really saying that? Is it really saying that? Is that really what it's saying? I'm like, Keith, don't do me like that, brother. I'm at work, red in the face, and I shouldn't be. I be hot. But anyway. Just give yourself a slap yourself level and get it over with. Okay.
Slap yourself.
I slap myself. Why am I slapping myself, Keith? All right. K-Bum, I apologize if what I said was taken as telling you to shut up.
I'm gonna tell you what I'm really offended about.
What's that?
It's not even the rant. It's not even the rant, bro. I'm telling you what I'm really offended about you. It's my birthday. You ain't said nothing, man.
Oh! I didn't know. Wait a minute.
He was too busy telling you to sit down.
Just sit down and shut up. My bro, I got told to shut up on my birthday. That's crazy, bro.
I said if you would hush up and listen.
Hey,
I want no hush up, but that's cool.
You got to buy him a LeBron doll now.
Okay. I'm gonna send him the LeBron song. That'll cheer him up.
I sent you that song.
I sent y'all a whole compilation of all the LeBron songs. You didn't get that?
No, we got that.
I'll send it again. That should cheer you up for about 7 minutes. Man, happy birthday. What, you 42?
42.
Man, y'all make me feel old. Jesus. How are you? Okay, I know we're not supposed to ask women how old they are.
Don't do it.
I won't do it.
I don't care.
Okay.
I'm not even like a girl like that, for real.
Okay. So what's your age limit, Nia?
I'm 37.
37. Wow.
I'll be 38 in May.
Keith, you what? You 37 too? Yeah.
I'll be 38 in May.
I'm 40.
That's a lie.
40 what?
That's a lie. Put some numbers on there. Put some numbers on there.
I'm 40.
Put some numbers on there.
45, man. 45. I don't look it though. I look like I'm 35, but I'm.
And that's all that matters.
That's all that.
But do you feel 45?
I don't feel 45 at all. Now that part I don't feel 45 at all.
That's what's up.
But that was the show for tonight. We had Nia on tonight, and we got a birthday guy in the house, K-Bump 20. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to K-Bump, fussing at your boy, to you. Happy birthday in denial on Digital Foundry's hatred. Happy birthday, bro. 42, man.
Thank you.
I apologize. Y'all, I apologize. This is my friend. We did this in person. We do this all the time. When we passionate, we passionate. Don't think we serious about anything we did on here. I had to tell them this every time.
I'm gonna run up on this house and pop, 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 pop. What he say in that movie? So right around your lips.
You know my wife here. You know how she is. So you sure you want to run up?
Nah, I wasn't there. I go in there and say, how you doing, Miss Level? I wasn't even there.
So we had Nia. Thank you for showing up on the night, Nia. You got any words to share with us before you go?
Make sure y'all get those likes up. We see y'all in the chat. Also, F's in the chat for the US government.
Hey, hold up here. Tell them where they can come and check it out. Give me your handles.
I am no longer content creator. If you want to, you may come to my channel when I stream every 8 months. The Video Game Her. It's the same thing as my handle in the chat. So yeah.
And follow her on X, or formerly known as Twitter. He'll be putting up some great posts. Go ahead.
Just follow me on Blue Skies. I hate it. Thank you very much.
Follow you on what?
Blue Sky.
Blue Sky.
Okay. Follow her on Blue Sky.
X is too salacious. I hate it up here.
Yeah, it is terrible. You can't even scroll through without being hit with stuff you didn't actually see. That's not going anywhere, but it's hard to. I'm scared to scroll through sometimes. K-Bump, go ahead and sign out, bro.
Nah, man. Just but I enjoy the last hour and 6 minutes of my birthday. Go upstairs, holler at the wife. She just got home from her rehearsal. Probably see I give me some cookies, dessert before I go to bed, and enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought that was going somewhere else.
No.
The
way I said it, I'm like, man. I mean, like cookies are like real cookies.
I couldn't say pause because that don't make sense.
It don't
that
need
ain't
to
no
say
pause
pause, but
moment.
we gotta be like, wait a minute, K-Bump, you gotta explain.
I heard when I said it. I was hoping nobody paid attention.
No, we come there. I went upstairs to get some cookies before I go to bed. That's what we heard.
I got an hour and 6 minutes.
Miss K-Bump is not. She's not that type of woman, sir. Stop it.
Oh man. I'm trying some birthday dessert. That still don't sound good.
We definitely gotta let her hear this podcast. Dang. Go ahead, Keith. Case for about cookies and ice cream. Lord Jesus. I might try to go
ain't
get
no
me
cookies
some
over
cookies
here.
too. So let me stop playing. Go ahead. I might give me some cookies on K-Bum's birthday.
Oh man.
You didn't even
No, man, I appreciate
it.
I called it.
Go ahead, Keith.
Yes, I appreciate Miss Video Game Her for coming through and being very articulate, even though she's very articulate. Yeah, very welcome. Thank you for everybody else coming in the chat and keeping us honest. Man, it was a good night. I hope, everybody that was talking, obviously y'all must like Nintendo, y'all be coming through because y'all was talking about you gonna get the Switch and you playing the Xenoblades and all the other stuff. So I hope all of us can get a Switch day one and we all playing it. We can talk about how amazing it is.
Not everybody wants cookies. I'm sorry. The comment section is wrong. Y'all wrong for that, bro. I'm sorry, Keith. I'm sorry. Go ahead, bro.
I mean, I want cookies too, but since I know ain't nothing over here, I'm not gonna beat myself up.
Oh Jesus. Lord, go ahead, man.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, man, no more cookie talk. I don't even know what I was gonna say. You threw me off. But
I'm
yeah,
sorry,
man, I hope
bro.
we over here talking about how great the Nintendo Switch 2 is and how we're on digital packages. How about that? And to that, I say good night.
Play Emio the Smiling Man.
Shouts
Say
out to
Emil, there you
Kawan.
go.
Shouts out to Kawan. I see you in there. He said, I want some cookies. I think we all want some cookies, to be honest with you.
Oh man.
Got me thinking about cookies now. So, I actually got some cookies in the bag up there, so I'm really talking about cookies. Lakers going down in the first round. That shall not happen. Slap yourself. But I thank all you guys for tuning in on tonight. I apologize to my guy again. I did say if you would stop talking and listen. So that is equivalent to saying hush up. So my bad, K-Bum. I apologize. That was a little much.
It's all good.
Mia, I really appreciate you showing up. It's always a pleasure to have you on. Man, you always come through. You always bring that information. Bruh, we got to make this happen again. Cars Keith.
It's the teacher in me.
Keith, it's always good to have you on and being here with all you guys in the comments. It's too many of y'all tonight, so I'm not going to name all you guys. Y'all know who y'all is. This was a Live and Level Gamers podcast. 2 hours and 25 minutes. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. All in your eardrum, all in your internet streets. Y'all stay blessed and highly favored. Stay safe, because the Switch comes out in June 5th. You got to get there. Till then, deuces. Peace.
We got smashed, bro.